Hello, internet friends, and welcome to episode number 194 of Final Boss TV. Still got the old intro going, don't worry. The updates are coming. My name is Adam K, aka Bay. Welcome to the State of Patch 8.2, and maybe some classic Bants, like in quotes and parentheses off the side there, toward the end of the show. But no Retribution Paladin today, as you could tell, because we're not talking about Retribution Paladin today. That'll be on September the 8th. I leave this coming weekend to go on another trip, which you don't know about yet, but by the time this goes up on YouTube, you will, but those that are watching live don't. So more on that soon. Be gone for about 10 days or so, and then the next show, the next spec show, is on September the 8th. But more on all of that, of course, soon enough. But thank you very much for tuning in today. I have to give a big old shout out to these nerds and ladies that are helping support the show, the stream, and everything in between directly over on the show's Patreon. There is just more of the show, if you didn't know that there is just more of this. There are the BTS podcast after show wrap downs that are just nonsense banter and off the cuff with my guests behind the scenes there. We're up to 63 of these shows. If you do want more, you can follow along with the show notes. Get yourself brand new apparel when it launches because you've already paid for it. And we take care of all that. But the posts go on and on and on if you do want more of what I'm doing here. And speaking of shirts, this just happened right before I started the show today. I got an email from Designed by Humans. First off, saying that they have free worldwide shipping if you do over $75. But the big one there is they have a BOGO sale that just started. So it's buy one, get one half off. And the new design with Fabelina's Little Final Bosses line just launched about a week plus ago now. So you can go customize your shirt with a little Queen Azshara on it. Tank tops, baseball tees, sweatshirts, stickers, all the different t-shirt styles here. Make sure you go check out the styles and customize your own shirt. I was gonna say concoct and customize and broke that in there, but other designs are right down there on the bottom ticker as well if you want to see the other designs that she has made. And all of that goes to support what I do here to make sure I can keep doing this here. And of course, keep working with artists to make things for you. But today, we are joined yet again by one of the most requested guests on the show. And no, Ryan, it's not you. It's Senpai Wordup. Welcome back, sir.
Hello. That's me.
That's
I don't
you.
know why I'm requested so much.
You don't know why? Oh, why
No?
not? Aw. You'll find out in a moment.
Oh, okay.
Chat, show Senpai some love. But welcome back, sir. This was like a last minute kind of show. It was like, you want to talk about 8.2? And then you gave me this giant wall of text. And we were like, let's do it. Because you have some things you want to share.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And then I was trying to find other guests today. And coming in clutch last minute, on top of a last minute show prep. New face on the show today. The voice himself, the legendary WeakAura master. Luxthos, hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
I like that.
Last minute guess. God.
It was last night. I just DM'd you because I was messaging other people and they're like, no, I'm flying out to Gamescom. No, I have a job interview. No, I can't make it because IRL. And I was like, well, dang. And then you were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I was going to bed. I was like, okay, let's. Why not? You know, I love this.
And you're taking a break from coding WeakAuras.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. He's prepped for
working
it.
a little bit.
You guys are seeing what's happening. Are we okay with this? Are you ready? I'll go to Ryan's screen now. Sir.
It's too much cuteness.
What are you doing? Are you not going to brush my hair? We had the whole bit ready, man. We had the whole bit ready.
You want
my hair. Brush daddy's hair. All right, he's whatever. Hello.
Hey, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Isaac. Guess who turns 3 this Saturday? That's enough. I'm done with you. Get out of here. Go see Mama.
Has Isaac picked a main in World of Warcraft yet, Ryan?
I'm sorry, what?
Has Isaac picked a main in World of Warcraft yet?
Isaac, what character are you playing in WoW? Are you playing? Wait, are you playing a rogue? Are you playing? Are you playing?
It's just laughing at the rogue. Yeah, just laugh at it.
Hey, are you playing a rogue? Are you playing a shaman? Are you playing a shaman?
He doesn't.
You playing a shaman? No. Okay. Well, there it is. There it is.
He says probably no.
Did I actually
Already
wait? Do I
making good
actually say
choices.
anything? I didn't really introduce myself. Hello.
No, you're
Good
just.
to be back.
Hi.
Good to be back. I'm happy to be here. Pleasure. It's been a while.
Yeah,
but,
it has been.
I'm proud to be back. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
It's always a pleasure to be in the company of great people.
Yep.
On Final Boss TV. It's an absolute pleasure. If you'll excuse me, I have a runt to kick out of the house.
Wait.
I'll be right back. No, out of the room. I'm sorry, out of the room.
Out of the house. Oh God.
Yeah. Just fend for yourself now, little one. Be off with you. That's what they do over in the UK, right? Word up.
Oh yeah, when you hit 3, yeah, out of the door.
Oh, okay.
You just find your way.
Okay. How does it work in Canada, Lux? How does it work in Canada? Like maybe a little older than that?
Yeah, because it's cold outside, so you gotta have a little bit of thickness before you get kicked out.
Okay. Do you want to plug your shirt, Ryan? I know you're just waiting.
No, listen. I'm wearing one of my very own. It's gonna be found, of course, on twitch.tv/brutalstatic. No big deal. This is a rendition of Coltrane and myself in anthropomorphic food style art. I know anthropomorphic probably isn't the right word because
usually it's an animal.
To animals, but
right.
Food look promorphic. I don't know. The point is, I met Coltrane on this show almost 6 years ago. So, yep, I felt like it was only appropriate to wear the t-shirt.
Wait, once you have your beard, you're out in Canada. At least what your parents told me. Oh, growing the beard equals out in the cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
They kicked me out at 7.
And Ryan, yeah, we were checking. We were setting up the show. You've been on between 15 to 18 times so far.
That's crazy.
Over the course of 6 years. Not enough?
Not enough.
Well, according to some YouTube comments, too much.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't doubt that, but that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
You and I don't make YouTube content anymore, though.
Review.
Yeah.
Well, speak for yourself. I've started making YouTube content again.
Oh, really?
It may not be good content, but I've started to make it again.
You'll have nothing will ever compare to the episode that we recorded back at your old place where I Drew of Genie snapped and revealed that you didn't exist and it was all me all along.
True. Nothing more than a puppet.
Yep.
And a puppeteer.
So we are here to talk about the good, the bad, the good, and the benthic. But the first little bit that I wanted to go back around here, Ryan already has enough plugging that has been done. Luxthos, you're the new one on the show today. So who the heck are you? And what do you dabble in the World of Warcraft and on the interwebs, sir?
I do a little bit of everything. So I dabble, I've been dabbling for a long time into World of Warcraft, and I've done most of it. I've done PvP, PvE, all of that good stuff. And I've recently started to share WeakAuras, which were meant to be for my own, and people have asked for them. I started sharing them, and now I'm streaming. So now I'm here.
Wait, real. Can we please put some kind of an effect on Luxthos's microphone so that he doesn't sound a million times sexier than the rest of us?
Yeah, I don't say.
Oh, yeah, I think that's fair.
This is unbelievable, man. You can't listen. It's bad enough when Coltrane's on the show, but now
I know.
Luxthos too. Love a Peter, man.
I'll do my best. Wait a sec. I got the Gork, so I can do all of that stuff myself. Let's try to. Maybe I can.
You can play this game.
Yeah, maybe I can try to rise myself up a little bit. Maybe we can.
Yes, that's better.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good.
All right. Let's make
You
sure we
feel
go
your
back down
show
to.
slipping away from you, Bay?
No, never. I always have full control of my show whenever you're on, right? Of course, no.
It's
By the
hurtling down a
way,
hill right now.
Can we please put our hands together for GoRec for gifting 100 subs at the beginning of the stream?
Right when I was starting the stream.
Holy cow, GoRec.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
To be honest,
man.
I thought you would I would have failed the intro if that was me and I saw 100 subs. I would have just stared at my webcam. You're good.
No, I can't. I can't give him. I can't give him anything more than he already gets. He gets enough. But no, it's awesome. It scrolled by so fast, and then chat reacted to it. And because I was looking at my notes and looking at my scene, I only saw like a couple, so I had to scroll back up. So yeah, you guys caught it more than I did.
Wow.
Yep. What a
Is that how
lad.
you treat all of your sub gifters, Bay? Like, oh, it's dead too fast. Didn't have time to stop and appreciate it. No big deal.
I
Just
go
100 gifted subs.
I'm scrolling back up. Yeah, he said, "Don't tell Bay." Okay? Question mark. So I wasn't supposed to know. Oh, okay.
Unbelievable.
He was trying to slip a quick one, just like 100 subs.
Yeah, break the entire chat with 100 lines of gifted. Yeah, of course. Now I didn't notice at all. So mission accomplished. But oh yeah, the beard comments right now. We have like a beard growth chart going on right now. And we'll let the YouTube comments or Twitch decide who's got the best one. And I'm pretty sure it's not Ryan.
It's okay. I don't mind bowing out. Listen, for the record, I do keep mine trimmed incredibly tightly because of not only who you just saw, but my wife and I are 10 days away from meeting our second child, our soon-to-be-born daughter, Savannah. My wife has a scheduled C-section August 28th, so it's getting close. So keep the beard nice and tight. Less pulling, fewer issues. The wise course of action.
With that in mind, then, and everyone should know, Senpai, do you need to shout out anything? Start the show here, just in case anyone doesn't know who the heck you are, or do you have anything you wanted to say?
I just write guides and complain on Twitter. Like nothing's changed since last time.
That's most of what I was waiting for.
And Suffer is an enhancement shaman, which is also not changed. But
Suffer. Have you seen this man's logs? Suffer, he says. I actually had to look. I was the other day. I was like, so how good is this right now? I actually have this other day. I'm gonna bring this back up yet again.
Is it full of orange?
I don't think. I think everything is orange.
No.
No, it's all. Is it beige?
Beige?
Is that the right color?
Artifact?
I don't know what color they color the 100 one.
I don't know actually. First off,
beige. Yeah.
That
sounds French.
Look at this. Yeah. Suffer.
Oh God.
Preference average in Mythic is 100%. 100 on Savara, Ashvane, Behemoth, or sorry, the Behemoth, Ashvane, Radiance of Azshara, Orgazoa, Queen's Court, Zakul. You're working on Queen Azshara right now.
Please don't show mine.
Listen,
Suffer.
This is great and all, but I see a big fat zero next to Queen Azshara. We've got a noob on our hands. I mean, come on.
I agree.
Clearly, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, come on.
I don't. You want me to bring up your
It's been like a
profile?
month and he's still not dead. Like, hello?
That's incredible, man. Those rankings are incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot easier when no one else plays it, though. It's like winning a really short race.
I mean, you're still winning.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's all I need.
Oh, wow.
I was scared you were gonna pull up like me, Brutal, and him. Just
I'm not even raiding right now. I got nothing.
I got like 3 kills in there in Mythic.
Terrible. I am going to give the first shout out real quick to Scythian for noticing the Florida Man shirt. I am wearing my flamingo shirt today. This was supposed those things could try to combat whatever Brutal was going to do on the show.
So I brought cuteness and adorableness to the show. Thank you very much.
And a very shiny forehead.
I told you I wasn't going to powder it. I wasn't.
I thought you were off camera.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, that I was writing my card.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Shouting that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting ready. I was getting prepped.
All right, so let's get into 8.2 here, and I want to open this up with a compliment sandwich. And if you're not sure what a compliment sandwich is, when you say something nice, then say something not so nice, and follow up with something nice, right? So like two positives and a negative, and what, Ryan?
Well, I was gonna provide an example.
Oh, well, you could start then. Give me your...
Okay, so earlier, like the pre-show, we were talking about what was quadratic. What was the quadratic scaling? Is that what it was?
On AoE.
Yeah.
AoE. So, compliment. You just say poop sandwich or compliment sandwich? I've always
compliment. What?
It's been a poop sandwich.
Poop sandwich.
That sounds way less appealing.
Yeah, I would eat a compliment sandwich.
Why do you?
Anyway, so quadratic scaling, whatever the case may be. So you start with good, say something not so good, end with good. Correct? We're all on the same page.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, Bay, you're looking lovely.
No, about patch 8.2.
No. I'm giving an example.
Okay.
Bay, you look lovely. You truly look lovely. Speaking of quadratic scaling, have you seen your hair recently? Thanks for letting me be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I don't know. Good. That's how boop, boop, boop. That's how it goes.
We have a reference for quadratic scaling in chat right now, too. Oh, gosh.
Example provided.
The WoW head guide for an only DK is just going to have a picture of Bay with his hair. It's like, if you have a hard time understanding what the scaling is, it's...
Is that how it's
Look over here.
So do you want to actually do... What?
Thanks for letting us be here, Bay. You're awesome.
No, thanks for you guys jumping on sort of last minute, because I was down to like Friday-ish trying to get the Retribution Paladin show, but the schedules weren't going to work. So I just thought like, okay. And then WordUp had a tweet that then we had a tweet chain, but then we talked more in our special Discord. And then I was like, this is an idea for a show. And so today's shows were born. That's basically how it worked. Yeah. But do you have a compliment sandwich for patch 8.2, Ryan?
Me?
Yes.
I'm incredibly happy that 8.2 has brought forth numerous systems, implementations, improvements, so on and so forth. A lot of content, a lot of good content. That being said, thank God I have all of my Benthic gear socketed and ready to go. I'm very much enjoying. Oh wait, I was supposed to say something bad about Benthic gear, wasn't I? Crap. No, I've got it all socketed. I'm good. But it's a great patch. Great patch.
I agree. Yeah.
Wow.
Very much enjoyed.
Best patch ever.
Mm-hmm.
That was a toast, not a sandwich.
Yeah, that was just...
There was just 3 layers of bread.
It's a bread sandwich.
Yeah.
All right. Lux, can you do a proper compliment sandwich to patch 8.2?
I'll try. I must admit, I'm really, really happy, even though I'm gonna preface this with like a kind of a even though it's been alt unfriendly, I love collecting essences. And on my main, I've been loving the system. I've been loving playing around with it, trying out new combinations in dungeon, trying stuff that people haven't tried or seem to haven't tried, and just playing around with it. So I've been loving the essence system. I've not been liking so much the lack of change to classes. I'm always kind of hoping there's going to be a little bit more, like, oh, maybe no. And lastly, I've been enjoying Mythic Plus. I've been enjoying a lot the new affix. It's been fun. It's been especially the first few weeks where we didn't have MDT. It was really, really fun because nobody knew what that, like, let's just go and figure it out. That was fun. I don't know. I liked it. We were not planning anything. It was just like, hey, I think there's a void there or something. So I don't know. It was fun. It was fun. I liked it. So
now take
is that a
note.
good sandwich?
Not only does he sound better than you, have a better beard, he made a really good sandwich.
Listen, I make tacos. I don't make sandwiches.
That's
right?
also
Let's
true.
let's clear
You
the
could
air,
have
right?
compliment taco.
Set the record straight. Listen, the taco, it's
The taco, yeah.
The taco, or it's all
Exactly.
good. Okay,
He took the bread and
everything's
just
good. In the shell, it's good. That's the only way I know how to live.
Senpai, give me your compliment
hungry.
sandwich. Yeah,
So,
right?
well, he took my first point with essences because I really, really like essences. And I also like 70% of Benthic, conservatively. The other 30% I'll come later. The 70% is like, that's a good number to stick at. The downside is the alt unfriendliness for a lot of people, and the retreading the Azerite Residuum grind for the 4th time now to get new perps. But the new zones, the new things to do, the new raids, they're all like A-okay, really good. This has been like one of my favorite patches in 3 years, 4 years.
It's pretty good,
Yeah.
because this patch mirrors and kind of has a lot in common with the Argus patch, except for like the placement of like the dungeon, right? So there's one dungeon versus like the Karazhan, which we got in Mechagon now, which is like a double wing thing to eventually become Mythic Plus with 2 different, outside inside, and the Veiled Argonite system, but with Benthic. Granted, the Veiled Argonite system wasn't for gear; it was just for rolling Arcano crystals. That was the only thing you ever rolled them for. Versus Benthic has a lot of essentially almost legendary affixed gear that we're using as a big stepping stone for raiding and min-maxing. So there's a back and forth there, but I don't think it was as well received. I think Argus felt very time-gated with how it rolled out very, very slowly over time, leading up to and then past the raid. And then again, of course, just the nonsense of rolling for Arcana crystals over and over and over and over and over again was all you did with it. So there's a little bit of parity there.
That patch had enough incentive to make you want to go and do it over and over again. So with Argus, it sort of petered out really quickly. By the time Antaurus was out, you weren't doing any of VW, very little and Argus stuff. But now, even with the raid out, still stuff to go and do in both zones if you so choose, and there's the essences to do as well. So on a one character basis, it's really encouraging to actually play the game outside of just raid logging, which I often am guilty of doing after a certain point in a patch. Yeah, certain expansions have definitely locked into that raid logging. That terminology, if you don't know, that's log on, raid, log off. That's all it means. And we're, to some people's misfortune right now, depending on how many characters you're running, which is the old discussion, and we'll get into essences a little more later on, but just kind of going over general stuff right here, is that there's a lot to do in the game, which is weird when it comes back around to like what the aggregate on like random thoughts on Reddit, or what you kind of hear and pick up in your streams, or maybe what you hear in Discords or gather on Twitter. Is always this weird pendulum where if there's too little to do, it's bad. But if there's too much to do, it's bad. It's like, how do you, does Blizzard just, they never win, I guess, this discussion. So
it's definitely the popular mindset, or the popular opinion to voice right now. Retail's bad and BFA sucks and whatnot, but I think if you speak to anyone that's actually actively playing 8.2, they would probably have more good to say than bad. I don't think any of us would say the game's in a perfect state, and I'm sure all of us on our own streams, Bait, Lux, etc., we've all talked about everything many times over. And 8.2 for me, and I'm not raiding at the moment. This is the first tier in a long time that I haven't raided. But even not being a raider, I find myself being able to log in. I mean, this week I've been grinding PvP for the essence, and I've actually enjoyed myself. I'm not normally a PvPer, but it's fun to do something a little different. Love grinding Mythic Plus. I mean, Lux and I would say for weeks now, we've been, jamming out some keys on a every other morning or so. Once or twice a week, whatever the case may be, just slamming and jamming on the keys, the Mythic Plus keystones, chasing other essences and Mechagon or whatever. It's proving to be worthwhile to log on and just do something either different or similar on a day-to-day basis, whatever floats your boat. But I'm having fun, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm having fun.
Some parts
I think there's enough content in there.
I agree. Like the expansion up until 8.2 was rocky in like the most generous way of saying it, but like, and the class issues that we complained about like 6 or 7 months ago, the last time I was on this, still kind of there in a lot of cases, but Essence has sort of band-aided them a bit, and 8.2 has given you a lot of stuff to do to make the expansion better. And I had the same problems in Legion, that everyone really likes Legion because it's the expansion that just finished, and that tends to be the cycle of the one that's just done. It's grass is greener. But I remember having a lot of problems with things in Legion that never stopped being a problem, and the same with WoD. And the very beginning of MOP, but I have a bias. But right now, this is the most active I've been in like a mid-expansion patch on one character.
Yeah, something I've heard a lot of people say, myself included, is if BFA launched in the state that it is right now in 8.2, I think it would have been a very different story. Sadly,
definitely.
it's taken us a year to get to this point in time for BFA to actually feel somewhat solid, like there's an actual foundation to build upon. I think Azerite gear, for all the hate that it's gotten over the past year, I happen to like Azerite gear in its current state. Do I like it more than tier and having 2 and 4 piece bonuses and having rogue specific or or warlock specific gear sets? No, probably not. But I don't loathe Azerite gear. Same thing with essences. I don't dislike the essence system. I happen to like it very much. I like having something that I can chase different ranks, different areas to get them in, different areas of the game to get them in. I know not everyone agrees. I know some people are diehard against, Mythic Plus or diehard against PvP or whatever the case may be. I get that. But for someone like me, I enjoy having these different areas of the game that I can, dip my toe into or just dive headfirst into, as a whole.
It's been a really good filler in between doing like keys, for example. If you don't have your friends online, or you're trying to look for a pug, you happen to be a death knight, nobody wants you, you're waiting for friends or something, and they don't log on, and you're like, okay, let me go do a couple battlegrounds, or let me go do let me get like 1,000 or 2,000, a couple thousand honor just to work towards that blood of the enemy, or I think that's what was lacking before that. You still had the Mythic Plus, which was really, really fun. Last season, Affix was super fun. I was still doing arenas. I was still raiding a little bit. But in between, I didn't add anything to do. So I was doing a lot more WeakAura work the last patch cycle. And now I actually got stuff to chase outside of doing Mythic Plus and everything. And I've been doing that so much, actually. I've been loving it.
Just the other day on stream, for example, I was just doing like I've been mostly working on my Demon Hunter for progression to begin with, because we didn't have one in the guild, so I had to apply that great engaging raid debuff, which I'm not going to bring up too much of my gripes, but everyone knows, if they've ever been on the show before or been on the stream, that the raid buffs and debuffs are a huge thumbs down for me. But for the betterment of my guild, I've been playing Havoc, so my Shaman's a little bit behind the whole curve, so she just hit 60 on her necklace, and I've been working on just catching up a lot of her other questing, doing like the entire, I'm not even done with it yet, like a 9-hour session of doing the Najatar starting area, getting to the Bane quest line, unlocking and getting Mechagon rolling, catching up and doing like just the initial like PvP bouncing around. I haven't really PvP'd like at all in like this expansion before now, or even Legion. Didn't really do much of it, maybe not even in Warlords. But jumping in now with a few people from stream or whatnot and feeling like you're always working towards a goal, it's part of the whole thing that I have, that I've compared a lot of how fun a game I play a lot of as well, Destiny 2, all these like stacked up objectives and things you can work towards at the same time while you're doing things you've already done before, but there's new reasons to do it. And the essences definitely bring a huge breath of fresh air into that whole system. And
well, it's because the essences are like they're really tangible compared to other things where they've told you what you are, giving you something to grind, like a bit of gear or so on.
Yeah.
But you finish the essence, it's an extra button, or it's like a visual effect, or it's something that you really notice happening. And however good or bad they are, you notice that you have it versus when you didn't each time you get one.
So
and the power upgrade warrants are actually also guaranteed.
Right. Yeah, everything is
it's not lucky. It's just, hey, I worked towards that, got it,
There's a little bit of luck involved in some of the
visual,
cosmetic, but that's
fine.
Those take some time. But I was gonna say, you gave me a great segue there. Something not as tangible is the next topic I was gonna say. Is how many pearls have you farmed? Benthic gear. Is it all of them?
I'm done, man. I have literally every piece socketed. I'm not even kidding. I'm done.
Now, so you said the keyword there, Ryan. So I'm going to do on this one first. Yeah, Wordup will put a pin in this one to wrap it out. But Benthic gear, when it first came in, great system. Between Benthic and Mechagon, you essentially, outside of weapons, catch up an entire character to like 400 eye level, like really like that. Just through questing, through the initial starting experience, you can catch your characters up, roll a new character, get them to a new point, right? That mid expansion patch. However, the affixed gear of Benthic, essentially some of these powers, belt, gloves, boots, bracers, almost as powerful as other trinket procs, or could be put in the same category as like a legendary passive. That's great. Good jumping off point to get your gear, get your pearls, farm them up, before raid comes out, use them as a stepping off point. But then a few days into the patch, we realized they can have holes in them randomly. And gear with holes is much stronger than gear without, up to 10 to 15 or even 20 eye levels higher. And this always comes back up. So, do you think it's fine that they roll sockets? That's like the whole question I have for all three of you. Is it okay? Should they have not? Should they have nerfed them? Should they have taken sockets out? I don't know.
I think it's totally okay. The thing I don't think is okay is how ridiculous socketed gear in and of itself happens to be. I mean, we've all seen the meme over the past few weeks of Ian saying about a year or so ago, well, when you get a piece of gear, we just want to make sure that it's an upgrade for you. If it's 15, 20, or whatever item level's higher, well, dagnabbit, that's not the case, is it? So the problem isn't Bintha gear. The problem is just the way that socketing or the way that the effects or whatever the case may be that Blizzard has implemented into the game, how it's all unfolding and how it's all influencing our, combat and the raiding scene or whatever the case may be. And it's unfortunate because here we have people like me, like I'm not raiding at the moment, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But then you have, sorry, I just bumped my microphone. Poor D Carter, streamer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I had him I talked to him a few weeks ago. The man, you go look at his streaming, the title of his streaming broadcast. I swear to God, every day for the past 17 years, it's been saying farming pearls today, farming pearls today, farming pearls today, because that's all he can do to be competitive and to stay up to date or to keep up with the other people in his guild or the people raiding, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
I don't care about the Bintha gear. I care about the system itself, the underlying problem.
I don't mind sockets being good. What I do mind is just like with how essences are good in that you know what you're going to get at the end of it. There is the socket random roll is making it so that getting Benthic gear is not really something that you can count on. So one guy could buy 5 pairs of boots and get the exact pair of boots he wants with his socket and his leech and all the other things. And the other guy could spend like 100 tokens and not get it. If you removed that and say there was 5 different pairs of boots that you could get, and then you could buy a token and put a socket on it, then you've got something that you can like be an end goal for everyone. And then it's a lot better. And then you can have all these wacky effects that you can grind out before the raid and have a raid specific power that doesn't maul with Mythic Plus balance or anything like that. It's just solely for the raid. And it's solely a Nazjatar Eternal Palace thing. But right now, it's really oppressive to have to deal with RNG that you have to do outside of raids to go and do.
Yep.
And sometimes that's too much for people, especially when you've also got the rollover of, well, like I've used all the pearls on my main, so I've got to go and do it on my ult now. Even though I don't really want to play my ult, I do need the pearls on my main, so we'll spend the next 2 hours in Nazjatar again.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I think they've tried to kind of make a system in between a little bit of Draenor, which was 100% just catching up on alts, which was you get a piece of gear, it's mediocre, but you can get your alt back up to level, and it's not going to be good for raiding, but it helps you out when you're trying to gear out a fresh gear character. And they did it in between that and Legion, which you could literally get pieces of gear that would drop from raid or unobtainable sources like the Super Arcano Crystal. And I feel like they wanted to do like a system a little bit in between where it was a catch-up gear mechanism with a little bit of plus upside maybe for raiding, and it ended up being too good, I think. I think I would have liked the system if it was cool little perks for questing, just like, hey, you get mount speed, you get a little bit of leech, you get a little bit of this or whatever.
Yeah,
and then I would not have mind as much the bonus socket because it's 425, which I already have higher than that with socket. I have 430 and 435 with socket, which is still getting outclassed by those 25 boots which I don't have all, by the way. I've been rolling. I rolled 350 token last night on my gloves, and I didn't get them, so I'm still missing glove and belt. But I'm not in a like super high mythic end guild, so I'm not really like whatever. I opened my tab, was like, hey, I got pearls. Let's gamble, That's literally how I treated it, right? I got lucky. I got bracers. I got boots, which is the 2 that I really, really wanted. You still get a DPS upgrade from glove, and the belt, I was like, whatever. It's 2 bosses or something, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally, I like the idea of it.
No, so do I.
It is almost entirely just the sockets that are the problem.
Yep.
For the masses. The people who haven't got them really do feel like they're, especially the ones that are farmed, feel like they've got super unlucky. And there's nothing more they can do outside of just open some more and hope that this time maybe there'll be a hole in it.
Well, right. I'd say it's I don't know And shout out to THD in chat real quick, who's in there. And you should be able to upgrade sockets with pearls, like 100 pearls for a socket. Like if you get a piece to 425, the next upgrade is putting a hole in it, right? Just keep it that player progression, that linear. Once you get the role you want to begin with, you should be able to just go right to the end goal. Because I actually do not think that this was a conscious decision by Blizzard. Just the way the loot architecture in the game works is when the game populates an item to create, like when it's built from a token, it just has a chance now, since Legion Forward, to roll a socket. I don't think they programmed that as an other random point where you get, there's 6 different things here, and also sockets can roll, and also tertiaries can roll. It's just part of how the game architecture for loot populates. So we didn't know in the PTR because no one was like farming a ton of pearls. I didn't hear about this. It was like 3 or 4 days after the patch. Everyone was like, oh. And it was fun to have that linear progression, but keep it on the same path, because players of this game want tangible, what we talk about with the essences, tangible things to shoot for, not fish through all this RNG and then hope and pray and then eventually get there and then, oh, it's done, it's over with.
If they just put it on a vendor, I actually have a terrible paint picture of just how easy it would have been to fix this benthic problem.
Do you? I have to. Yeah. I got to bring this up real quick, I guess.
It's very good. It's very artistic. It would have just took that, and this entire benthic debacle of the last 2, 3, 4 weeks would have just not existed, and we wouldn't have to listen to it every day. Even though it's totally justified.
Would it really fix it though? Would you really feel good about having a 425 piece and getting 455? Like I have 455 in my bags right now that I'm not able to equip. And it feels bad. I mean, for me, it doesn't feel good,
Well,
because I could be 446, right? And I'm 430 something.
I'm on like the side where it doesn't matter what item level I am on the page. It matters which item is contributing the most. Yeah. Although I understand it doesn't feel good to get an item that you don't equip. If you're doing anything that's not in the raid, it is usable. Yeah. It's better in Mythic Plus because the effect doesn't do anything there, which is like a halfway house to it. And it did feel good to go into the raid where I felt like effort I'd done beforehand contributed to doing the raid. Because the raid wasn't out, I couldn't have spent that time raiding. That was the best prep I could have done.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. And if you just have that socket thing there, that means that someone's got an end goal. It means that, like, worst case scenario, it's 50 pearls to get the item if you get really unlucky with which pair of boots you get, and 50 for the socket, and then however mage upgrade. It puts an end capper on it.
Yeah, I'm more in line with Luxthos's perspective on this one due to the fact that, going back to what I originally said, the underlying issue of sockets and whatnot. I'm looking at my character's bank right now, and I've got a 445, 450 trinket, which trinkets are a little different to be fair, but I've got a 455 ring, a 450 pair of boots, 450 pair of gloves, and all of this stuff is just sitting in the bank because sockets are so powerful right now. And these effects in the raid are so powerful right now. And again, they're fun, they're engaging, they're different. I love seeing things like that, but it really just goes back to those sockets and just how unbelievably OP they happen to be. And so I don't like it. I agree. I don't like having this higher grade gear, this gear that at first glance you would think would be an upgrade, sitting in my bank. I just don't like it personally. I don't.
So the overall air of this show, I want to make sure we're not like to not be misconstrued, is that there's a lot of positives right now. So we're gonna harp on some of the negatives here and there, and the whole show is gonna be a compliment sandwich. But this just came in. It was posted in chat, but it scrolled by a little fast. I didn't notice this. A day ago on the PTR for 8.25, the Leviathan's eyes have been nerfed by by 20 primary stat. Like not many.
It's like a real left field thing because you can really quite fairly expect that someone's got at least one, even just one, and they can put it in. Doesn't matter how strong it is, they've got one. It's all the other gems.
Yeah,
that are
exactly.
strong.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary stats, I got a lot of strength. It's the haste that I'm after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they've already been nerfed, as we all know. If you remember,
Yep.
Yeah.
Epic
Oh,
gems were
God,
already
60. That would have been. That would have been
Crazy.
fun.
yeah.
It's very
I
weird.
don't get it, guys. I don't get it.
I almost think it should go the other way around. Is that
Yeah.
the Leviathan Eye should be buffed.
Yes.
It should go to
I feel like they're starving us of secondary stats with like the gear scaling, the way it works. Like the higher it goes, the less secondary you get.
That
you
is
become
correct.
starve of it.
Yeah. Well,
I have
we're
so
hitting.
much strength.
Wordup may know a little more about this right now, and this is a bit leading into the next topic here. I want to keep moving us along, but we're hitting. If you look right now in the Eternal Palace at the same item in LFR, and then look at it and flip it and put it into Mythic, and the secondary stats you're seeing do not go up that much. The stat budget now is way more into primary
It's
because
hit the suppression.
we're
point
hitting the
quite
suppression, the curve. So we're going to be flattening out. So this into whatever else we get, secondary stats are basically not going to move that much. Like small.
It makes sockets so good because of that.
That's also the problem. That's what going back to what Ryan was saying too. Yep.
It's
I understand
also
why
hit,
they
like,
did it.
point-
But
It's hit
Go
the
ahead.
point where secondaries are now getting really valuable because you've got so
Yep.
much of, like, say, 3 of them, but you've got very little of one. So it's why some of the essence miners that give secondaries that you would normally think, well, I don't really like haste that much. Well, not that there's very many of those, but they go, wow, when they look at it, oh my god, that's really, really good for
Yep.
completely unknown
Yep.
reasons because they haven't got a lot of it and it's giving you a lot unsuppressed. Like, secondary scaling has gone like through the roof on some specs.
Yeah.
This patch specifically,
Yeah.
where they're worth twice as much as they've been for the rest of the expansion.
Yeah, shout out to Kib in chat. Primary stat has scaled exponentially on gear, but linearly on player power. However, secondaries scale linearly on gear, but exponentially on player power. The flip-flop. A little bit of that 1-2 buckle my shoe. So
They have also got problems with that is being caused by the essences, which is the only problem with them, I think, is that they only scale with some of your secondaries. So
I think-
historically, some specs who like mastery, as an example, essences are really messing with them.
I feel like at this point in the game, or this point in the expansion, or however you want to frame it,
sure.
I simply, and this is a conclusion that I came to about 3 months ago, and I'd be interested to see more people take this step because it really has changed my approach and changed my perspective. Is if everybody went outlaw rogue, the game would just be a better experience for
That-
everybody.
What
You'd have
is-
more outlaw rogues on Mythic Plus.
what-
You'd
you don't
have
need
more
any
AoE
more.
damage.
You
You'd have a better experience shrouding
There were
and
two
skulking around the world and in dungeons. I'm just saying, man, it's the right call.
you know what happened when there's too much outlaw road? They get nerfed.
Yeah, the more you get,
Bring it. I
the
can
worse
take
the
it.
nerf gets.
I mean,
I feel like socket was a way of kind of allowing us to customize. It kind of sockets for me feel a little bit like reforging. It allows me to take a piece that I don't necessarily like the stats and customize it just the way I want it to. So if I want to do AoE or go frost, like socket mastery in there, good to go. If I want to go single target and only, I put haste in there, good to go, And I like that part of it. Like the strength of item is not, I know it helps me out in every scenario, but it's not really that fun. And I understand why they do it, right? They've even explained it, why they've done it, because mages and like fire mages needs crit at the start of the expansion. Warrior needs crit and haste to be able to generate resources. So
yeah.
there's a couple of class that needs this to function when an expansion starts. And
Always
I
a
need
mage.
more
as well.
secondary.
You ever notice that? It's either a mage or a shaman. It always comes down to them.
yeah,
Well, that's a nice pin end note in that. But now I moved this forward because Ryan had to curtail it to the rogue discussion because that was part of the thing in the middle of the show that I want to talk about.
What?
That's the poo sandwich, I guess. Is that Ryan? You're playing a rogue mostly now.
I
So,
am. I'm
but
not
you-
rating at the moment. See, I'm roguing it up in Mythic Plus.
Right.
Not that good, but I'm enjoying it.
So let's talk about Mythic Plus and Shroud. And if you didn't know, this last Tuesday, there was a rather large nerf to Outlaw Rogue's overall funneling and AoE damage output. Because if you haven't seen, the MDI, at least the first opening week, I don't think it's changed that much even after the nerf for this week, is just, it's Prot Warrior, Restoration Druid, and 3 Sword Boy
Nope.
Rogues.
Not anymore. Let's not go. Let's not exaggerate.
Okay.
There's an
Not
only
exaggerate. We've seen DKs, Demon Hunters, Windwalker Monks, very much like it was
Now, yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
Remember,
But there
referring
is
to the
always one that's
MDI.
ever present. There's always at least one. Always.
Well, of course, we're the
Usually
Rogue's gonna win.
Usually too.
Resto Druid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This was like a nerf that pulled them back from like playing in 9.0 and makes them play an hour patch, but they're still
Yeah.
really good.
damage, baby. Yeah, I mean,
But-
Outlaw Rogue, the MDI, it's thinking Mythic Plus, everything. Yeah, what are we digging into? There's so much to talk about.
Well, no, the major point that I kill, because everyone else, they understand the rogue kid is crazy, and the AoE and Blade Flurry's 13-yard just circular AoE butt cleave is also really simple and crazy. It's good. It's like one of their niches. It's fine. The issue that came up, and this is one of the questions that came from my Discord, was that it's Shroud. And is it too strong? Should it be removed? Should there have an exhaustion cooldown put on it? Because just skipping huge swaths of trash, going from one shroud to another shroud, is that a okay tactic, or does that pigeonhole the Mythic Plus scene at the higher end, but you literally only can do this to compete? I don't know if you saw, Now posted their Told to Gore speedrun testing the other day on his Twitter. They did a 18 in 13 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just skip entire detention block floors.
Woo! Here's my perspective from someone who's been playing Azeroth past 3 months or so. I want to give perspective, and then I'm going to give an opinion.
Okay.
I don't consider myself to be that good at outlaw roguing. I've only been doing it again for a few months. My season 2 Radar.io score was 2.6k, which I think is good, but it's certainly not great. Lord knows there are about 1 billion 3k, 3.5k rogues out there that know more than I do, that play better than I do. That's a fact. I just want to lay the groundwork.
Okay.
My opinion on Shroud as a rogue currently is that yes, it is pretty dang OP. It's cool. It's fun. It was retired. I don't know, an expansion or two ago. It was brought out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I know Invis potions exist. Yes, I know death runs exist, etc. Do I want Shroud to go the way of the dodo bird? No, not really. Would I be upset, or would I be surprised if it's adjusted in ways that you've defined or removed again entirely? No, I would not be surprised. No one wants to see their class, get nerfed or changed to a degree to where it's not as, there's not as much utility or enjoyment in it. The way that I would like to see Mythic Plus, the shift that I would like to see, is to allow us to have more choice, agency, right? Have more agency in the run that isn't dependent upon class stacking. Oh, do I bring like you mentioned earlier today? I loathe the buff system and debuff system in WoW right now. I think it's antiquated. I think it's archaic.
Yep.
I don't think it's fun or entertaining or this is, man, I'm sure I'm glad we're bringing a monk this time so I can do 5% more damage or whatever it is. Like, no, I don't want to have to bring a stinking monk to a dungeon run to do maximum potential damage. Like, I just want to have the ability to go and do my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting off topic. The point is, Shroud, I would not be upset, nor would I be surprised. I don't want it to happen, but I think that something does need to be adjusted. I'm hoping that Blizzard kind of approaches it from the ground up, like building dungeons that don't have such a superfluous amount of trash or having, having to like, look at Motherload as an example, man. How many groups that actually, know what they're doing, so to speak, intentionally clear trash between second, third boss, third and fourth boss? Very few. We've seen it done before. It can be done. It's not that there's a necessarily right or wrong way to do it, but most groups front load trash in Motherload because it's faster, it's easier, it's safer.
Yeah.
Then they death run, they shroud, whatever. I don't think that's good dungeon design. I don't. Motherload for me is probably my least favorite dungeon in BFA. I don't think it's good dungeon design. I don't think it's a good Mythic Plus design. I would like to see them address that more than Shroud. But if they do touch Shroud, that's cool. Whatever. I'll play. I'm not married to my class. I found that I'm a bit more fluid these days, so I'm not worried about it. We'll see what happens.
I tend to only do a lot of Mythic Plus after I've finished progress, so my opinions will be slightly weighted towards what I just do, which is like a weekly 15, 16, 17 or something. But last season I did them quite a lot. And I'm of the cliche opinion that it's better to bring everyone else up rather than bring the one that's got something cool down, because Shroud is a good idea. Like, it's a cool ability. If I'm really honest, I don't have as much of a problem with Shroud as I do like all the ancillary stuff that Rogue has on top of it. Because when you look at Shroud is really good. Everyone sees Shroud. It's the big circle. It's really obvious. But then you also add in that they've got longer range. They've got a really conditionally good AoE. They can pick locks in Toll the God. They've got tricks, which is really good for all the threat issues. There's it goes on and on with all these other things. And so that means there's you could pick Rogue that brings Shroud and is really good at all these other things. Or you could pick this spec that hasn't got Shroud.
Right.
And isn't as good at the other things either.
To interject for just a moment, because I want to tack on to what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. As a rogue, Outlaw is absurd, man. I can completely lock down an NPC start to finish. Thinking open up with, thinking cheap shot, blind, between the eyes, kick. I mean, there's so many things that I can do individually. Yeah. My group should never be in danger of a cast going off or a mob running loose or whatever the case may be. You bring an outlaw rogue
you could have done something, right?
Exactly. You bring an outlaw rogue to a dungeon, let alone 2, then it's cruise control, baby. And that's fun as the player. Like, God, man, I love being able to just show up to a run and just get it done. Like, I know that I can depend on myself to kick this and sap that, blind this and gouge that. No big deal. I'm having fun. But why would you bring a warrior? Why would you bring, this class? Why would you bring, enhancement shaman? Sorry, word. It just doesn't provide the same level of utility.
Yeah.
And that's I hate to use the word unfair, but in a sense it is. God, this is a really deep well that we can get into. So I'll shut my mouth and let Bay take over again.
Yeah,
I'm really honest though, the solution to that is bring other people up.
Yeah.
Or take away a few.
I agree.
A lot of the little side things that rogues have, they don't necessarily need that. Or you don't need to have dungeons like Toll the God that's specifically tailored towards
I agree.
Something that rogues would never use.
I mean,
but you can start spreading this stuff out to classes. You give them something that's really strong in a certain dungeon where you go, wow, hey, I'm doing Shrine of the Storm. Wouldn't it be really great if we had a Windwalker monk on this dungeon, because they can do something. The only problem is that's the hard solution, because you have to come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shroud is too much of a big mechanic that you would have to give insane stuff to other classes. Like, if you remember when Shroud came back around, it was at the starter mid-legion, right? Because Shroud wasn't a thing back then. And if you remember, there was not any rogue in Mythic Plus, because the strat wasn't to single target out mobs. It was just to AoE the heck out of them.
Yeah.
It was AoE stun, AoE stun, AoE silence, AoE stun, AoE silence. And then what were the rogue doing back then? Absolutely nothing, because if you would single target something out, you would put it on DR, and then you would screw the whole rotation. You would mess the whole stun, AoE, silence rotation thing. And then they were like, okay, so rogues are useless. Let's give them Shroud back. And then everything kind of balanced out, because rogues still didn't have an AoE stun, but they would allow to skip part of the dungeon that would be hard to handle without those AoE stun. And now we completely removed the need, and they completely removed the accessibility to those AoE stun. They've been gutted all over the place. And now you go into a more, okay, let's main CC this one, let's interrupt that one in a more controlled fashion. But rogue still has this major cooldown that is completely out of scale with everything else. At the start, DK were supposed to have 5% leech. That was one of their little thing, which isn't game breaking, but hey, it could be fun. The healer can DPS a little bit more because everybody's sustain a little bit more. So it becomes a DPS upgrade in a way. But they don't bring anything else, and many other classes don't really bring anything. Like, if you see a warrior right now or a DK, they bring damage. That's what you do. You bring damage. You don't bring anything else. So what do you give to those class to pair up to Shroud?
The problem with that, tackling that one, is that's the harder job to do. Yeah. If you're a developer, you could either do one of two things. You either give the other 11 classes something in some dungeons, or you take away Shroud. Now, my preference would be add things to the dungeons, make them more interesting, make classes have something cool, because you don't want to pull fun away from one group to satisfy the other people who are suffering from it existing. You want to give them something that makes them good. but I know it's not the easiest solution. So it's like a
Let's-
time management issue.
Let's also not forget that the Blizzard philosophy 9 times out of 10 is not to rock the boat mid expansion. We're not going to see in most cases big changes like this until 9.0. And for a lot of people, that may be too late. Like I've heard so many times recently, like the MDI is boring, the MDI is lame, lol rogue, and I get it. I don't completely agree with everything being said, but I understand where people are coming from because it can be frustrating to see no representation of your class or specialization, nothing, no adjustment week to week after week or dungeon after dungeon, and we're probably not going to see too much done until 9.0, and who knows what's going to happen then, man. My goodness, it could be a whole new game for all we know.
What would you think about like nerfing the movement speed inside Shroud and taking Invis potion off the DPS potion, but making it a 10-minute cooldown? So instead of being 5 minutes, it has its own cooldown of 10 minutes, and then everybody that's in the Shroud move at walking speed, and you apply the same nerf to Invis potion. So you cannot mount. You cannot sprint. You cannot, you just move slowly because you're supposed to move slowly. You're supposed to be stealth.
Right.
You're not supposed to be sprinting the heck off into the dungeon invisible.
Let's go.
Nobody sees us. Let's go. Like it's So that would
I guess
that would bring Shroud down to the Invis potion maybe a little bit more, just like Battle Shout or Fortitude or whatever. They're all just a little bit better than the scroll. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be pulled back a little bit. That's one of the problems is whenever I read things about Shroud, it's either the people going, no, we need to keep Shroud, it's super awesome, don't touch it, or it's the other one of, no, it needs to be immediately removed, and also, while you're at it, also nerf Rogue's damage, and make sure that we never get any MDI ever again.
Delete Rogue from the game.
Yeah, it's always
Stealth is
like
overpowered.
100% or 0%. Those are the two choices.
Yeah.
It could be just like,
there's an in-between somewhere, we just got to figure it out, I think.
How about...
Okay.
What? Okay.
I just got a text from the wife saying not to alarm you, but the contractions have changed from being centralized to my lower abdomen.
Oh.
This is yellow alert, everyone. Yellow alert.
Yellow alert.
Back to the show, please.
So we might have the little one take
I
over.
warned me before the show today.
He did. It's fine. It's fine. You also warned me at the 8:30 adjustment here in about 17 minutes. But anyway, so you're talking about future expansions. And for those wondering, and the title does say we're talking a little bit about Classic today. That's in the second half of the show. But right now, I wanted to bring this back to sort of the big system that always keeps happening every expansion to expansion to expansion. So, and put a little tinfoil hat on, maybe a little thinking cap as well. But in the past, we've had tier sets for the longest time. We then had our new artifacts and the Netherlight Crucible and Legendaries last expansion. And then now in BFA, we had Azerite 1.0, not that great. Azerite 2.0 here in patch 8.2, a lot better, a little more accessible. Get your pieces, you go for it. Now we also have been given the major and minor essence combinations. Wordup has recently unlocked his 65 after he actually eats, sleep, dined, repeat, and maybe like fell asleep in Islands. I mean, good power to you.
They were pretty relaxing, in honesty.
But we've had all these systems that have been the integral part of how our characters have progressed now. Because before Warlords and then back, it was just like you got your new talent, and then you got your tier set, and then you found like your broken trinket like the Roro or something along those lines. That's really all you did in the game. And Blizzard with Legion systems and BFA systems have now had these additional ways of character progression. All of them have been a little hit, a little miss here and there. I don't think any one system gets a full thumbs up, and I don't think any one system gets a full thumbs down. But out of all the recent character progression bits and bobs, which ones did you or do you enjoy the most? And where do you put your thumbs up or thumbs down? And do you think we'll see something along those lines new, returned, retooled for 9.0? Senpai, you want to start us off here? You've got the thinking cap on.
If I'm like really honest, it might be a little bit recency, but I think I like essences the most of the more recent things. I don't count tier sets in it because tier sets have been here for, well, except for this expansion, forever. Right. And I do like tier sets. I think they're a good idea. I think they're a nice way to like have a nice little extra flavor each tier to spread out classes. So tier sets are good, and I do think they should come back in some facet. Artifacts, I'm like hot and cold on. Some of it was really, really cool. Some parts of it was kind of, it ended very quickly, and there was a lot of fluff and filler in between. Like essences feel like you do get some of the duds, but they're all something relatively impactful. They've got something behind, or like a concept behind them that you want to look at, and especially with 3 slots and mixing and matching, I think that's really cool. The Crucible was like a huge thumbs down. I didn't like that from start to finish. Legendaries, a whole can of worms that I it's very hard to disconnect the original opinion of Legendaries to where it ended, because the original one was horrific, honestly. Just a completely horrible, no go. Do not like, do not remember it fondly.
It's almost
I had a bad experience.
well, because you talk about player power and essences being a guaranteed, like you do this grind, you do these achievements, you get this loot, versus Legendaries, which is like you can do things that you do normally and you might get lucky.
It's like, say, exactly, if you have Blood of the Enemy that you want, as an example, you might not like BGs, but you know, if you do them, you get that honor, it's done. You don't have to do them anymore, but you get that. You get the one that you want.
Mm-hmm.
If the best legendary was but if you wanted legendaries, if you want your best legendary, and they said go and do 50,000 honor in BGs, legendaries would have been great. I'd have gone and done them, wouldn't have liked it, but I'd have got it. I wouldn't have then spent 4 months opening boxes and thinking,
hey,
is this the one? And then it's not the one, and then we go back.
You did enough PvP last expansion to get the deep red version of the Doomhammer PvP skin. I see you. You at least did that. You at least did that. But that was it. You were just like, I got it, done.
Got it done, and that's it. But I got my thing, and I didn't mind. That was totally fine. I like having at least some semblance of knowing when it will end, so that I can sort of progress toward it.
That was a measurable goal, right? You had a, like, hey, I start there, finish there, reward, happy.
Yep. But yeah, Lux, what do you, on those systems, what do you think?
I have to agree again with Wordup on the essence. I think I like, even though I like AP and artifact or whatever you want to call it, power, as a bad rep, I like having character progression that influence the way you play. So I liked a little bit the artifact in Legion, except at the end, because we've unlocked everything and it was just Paragon. But throughout the progression of Legion, at the start, going through that tree and being able to customize my playstyle and choose, everybody had already down the path, like the perfect path and everything. But it was a little bit fun just to, hey, now I got the zombie shambler, which is a big zombie that explodes. Cool, that's a fancy new thing. I don't know, it felt cool. Just like the essence system now, which I like because I can grind for something, and now, hey, I do 25% more crit damage and 25% more crit chance on these mobs on AoE. It changes my playstyle. Now I want to maybe load up front more burst into that window. And if I play with Crucible, then I'm more single target-ish. And then, so it customized my playstyle on a grinding, almost not infinite system, but now I like that the grinding system is for cosmetic. So I love that part. So you have a clear state of, I need to get this to increase my power, to change my play style, and now I can do this extra step that is probably going to take me, because I'm getting every legendary essence, by the way, just because that's a goal I've set myself. I want them, even though I'm going to have to grind 50k more honor just to get the thing that's going to make me glow a little bit more gold or whatever it does. Mm-hmm. I don't, it's something I'm going to end up doing, but I like that part. And I think the Azerite system, I like the traits. I think what I don't like is that some of them were really, really neglected. So I feel like there's some trait that we've never touched, for example, as DK. Like there's literally trait that boosts Frostsight, and I'm playing Breath of Syndragoza that doesn't even use Frostsight. So I mean, almost never in the burst window. So they seem to sometimes be unbalanced, or Festermite, which has been the best trait for the entire expansion for Unholy DK, and that breaks them completely. But without it, we would not even be playable. So I'm a little bit sad about those things. I feel like they should have done a little bit more in and out tuning, just like, hey, try it above that. Let's try to nerf this one. Just try to play it. I understand they don't want to pull the rug on their player, but maybe a little bit more play on the on the Azerite there, and maybe the whole system where you keep having to regrind in order to re-unlock them. That was a little bit whatever. They could have improved that, but yeah. So those are the two major likes and don't likes.
Right.
The acquisition method of Azerite right now as well, I think, is it's better than it was, but I still really, really don't like it.
Yeah.
The residuum cost and the fact that it's gambling.
Oh God, I can't. I have
don't
to gamble.
understand.
I'm just. I
No
see that 45K.
200K, yeah. It's just and the feeling of like just before you open it, oh maybe I'll get it.
Yeah.
And if you get it, like you'll have a minute of going, whoa, great, I got the one that I want, let's move on. Whereas if you don't get it, you then spend the next 10 minutes thinking, well, it's going to be 2 more weeks till I get to try again. And then you keep thinking about the fact that you've not got what you really, really kind of need.
Doesn't it all exactly feel like Legendary from Legion? If you open the right one, it's like, oh God, I got it. And if you open the wrong one, it's, oh, why fucking Pride has? Ugh, I gotta, it feels exactly the same way. It's like, okay, I gotta do LFR for 2 more weeks and other useless stuff to grind stuff, to do stuff. Yeah.
And the trait neglect is definitely true. There's just so many that it almost feels like they got to a point where everyone's got at least some traits that they like. So let's not touch anything.
They just went like
this.
We
touch
okay,
it, we'll break it again. So everyone's got 2, 3 traits, and we're done. We're safe. And then Enhancement's also got the problem that we can't combine 2 traits, and we're the only ones. Still going to bring that up every time.
Oh, yeah. Are you?
There's not a single piece with a combination of 2 traits, and it's the only spec in the game. Challenge people to find one.
Which 2 traits are you talking about again?
You can't combine Natural Harmony and Thunderhound's Fury. And I've been complaining about it since 8.1.
Yeah, there's no tier 1, tier 2 of that anywhere, is there?
No.
It's one or the other. Yep.
And it sucks.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I think I have a couple pieces as DK. I think I have 1 slot that I cannot get a perfect combination as well for an early DK, but I don't remember which one.
Well, the perfect combination, to play devil's advocate here, is determined and found out and mathed and simmed by players. When Blizzard makes them and slots them in and they dev out these pieces, they're not trying to make perfect combinations because they don't know what they are or didn't plan to know what they are. But that goes back to a conversation the chat was having about how there may be 1 or 2 too many essences maybe mixed in there, which kind of dilutes the pool a little bit. But then the Azerite system as a whole, and my biggest complaint that I've had for the whole expansion so far is, why did they Binding of Isaac, the item pool for Azerite? Why are there like so many? Because they're basically 2-piece and 4-piece tier sets sort of distilled down in a way where you sort of pick and choose your own and put them together. But at the same time, why are there dozens and dozens and dozens? Why aren't there just like a handful and you shoot for this combination? But there's so many for every spec. And it's neat to see how many they created, but at the same time, like, did they really need to do that when we ignored 40 to 60% of all of them?
Yeah, some of them don't need to exist.
Yeah.
Like the enhancement problem is caused by them almost removing a trait, and then the 0 hour then going, wait, no, we'll keep it. And no one ever wanted the trait. No one still wants the trait. So the trait that they added is like found on the most fringe pieces, and it's fairly rare. And that's why it never gets combined, because obviously it has to overlap with traits that other classes have as well.
Yeah.
So because it's like a not spec, it's like a class one and a spec one, they never intertwine. And that's their problem. Why didn't they just say, well, no one's actually using these traits. They kind of suck, and we don't really want to bother making them better. We'll just get rid of them.
Yeah, they did that in between, like, what, 8.1 and 8.1.5, right?
They
were like, okay, so these traits are not used. Let's just create new ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. They could have they should have just removed the ones that weren't used and then just like not added more.
And had the pool be a little bit more
a little bit smaller. Yeah. Because again, they can be 700 plus items in the Binding of Isaac, right? That's totally fine because it's a roguelite. You're going to build Isaac every single run you go on and get stupid combinations of things. But in an RPG, you don't really do that. I don't know if you go back to like the staples of old RPGs. I don't remember randomly getting loot that I didn't need on Chrono or on Cloud, right? I don't remember this. And Ryan, you're writing something.
I was a few minutes ago. Yes, I
Alright.
have a few notes. Thank you. for
Okay, you
noticing.
have a few notes. Do you wanna wrap this topic up?
First and foremost, if anyone here is wearing a thinking cap, that would be Luxthos. Just want to put that out there. Secondly, you guys are touching on great things. However, you're forgetting the most important systems that have ever been removed from the game: resist gear and attunements. Need I say more?
And we're not talking about classic yet.
Uh,
No,
later.
joking aside, that's coming later. Don't worry. Joking aside, you know, you guys have already touched on pretty much everything, so most of my stuff will be short and sweet, which is very unusual for me. I happen to like the legendary system in Legion, but my perspective on it is a bit biased due to the fact that, you know, I'm one of those jerks. I can stay home and I can grind dungeons or raids or emissaries or whatever, you know, 8+ hours a day because it's my job, right? So I don't feel like my opinion is as valid, I suppose, in a sense. And I do, but I also want to specify, I completely agree that the first year and 3 months of Legion legendaries, awful. My first 2 legendaries as a Demonology Warlock were Sephuz and Prides, long before they were buffed, and it sucked. So I'll read you loud and clear. I think that the system that Legion ended with was fantastic in terms of the legendaries. And I'm one of those people. I miss having something, you know, legendaries in this case, something that can happen at the end of a Mythic Plus run, or, you know, opening my Mythic Plus cache every Tuesday. Yeah. I miss having that random, like, holy crap, a legendary aspect. But I get it. If people didn't like the system, I totally understand that. I'm not going to stand here and pretend like it was the best thing ever, because there were frustrations that were present. And even though the system ended on a high note, it certainly didn't begin there. I just miss I miss having something else to chase down in the game. Even a random system like that, I miss being able to get, you know, tokens for my alts, you know, running around Argus, and I don't know. I miss it. I'm a little sad about that.
Mhm.
Speaking of
agree with
Argus
that.
in the latter half of Legion, my God, you touched on this. I believe you touched on this word. The Crucible system. Years ago, Blizzard said they took out reforging because they didn't want people to leave a raid after getting an item to reforge it and get something back. That was the Crucible system, man. For the love of God, like, hello?
Yeah.
We hate this one system, so let's reintroduce it with a brand new, you know, slap a new coat of paint on it, good to go.
Mhm.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I hate. Listen.
Horrible.
I don't like reforging. I don't like the Crucible system.
Yeah.
I don't like any of it, dagnabbit. Although I will say the Mage Tower, yes, I do miss the Mage Tower.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
The Crucible is especially bad because that is an example where you get an item upgraded and you get the nice flashy thing saying it's, you know, it's Titan Forge, and you go and you take it to the Crucible and it rolls nothing that you want at all. And suddenly you don't want it anymore. And like that's offensively bad compared to like getting a pair of boots with the wrong stats on, because this is a weapon. This is supposed to be like, this is the relic I want.
Mhm.
Makes my weapon good, and it's going in my resto weapon or something because I sure ain't using it.
But that's
So
the combination of how they got to that point is sort of part of their artifact path, and the Netherlight Crucible sort of became Azerite armor, right?
Mhm.
Because they wanted you to feel that joy or that accomplishment of re-unlocking traits like you did on your weapon. But then re-unlocking or unlocking again the same trait after you get an eye level upgrade was not fun. Learned that. That's why we have Azerite 2.0. And again, the relic system being random every time you got one, not fun. Azerite, every piece is curated. So they've learned things in that regard, right? Those have been improvements on those two systems. And obviously the removal of what some people may have enjoyed, like what Ryan said about the getting a random legendary, but I think a lot of people, I think I got the Lava Lash bracers first, and that was way, way, way before they were ever considered to be anything worth it for enhancement. And then the next one, I think, was also Sephuz, before it was buffed twice to make it not bad. So it was like a weird time of just like, oh, orange, oh.
Yeah, that's the rabbit hole of my legendaries. It's not a good one to
Yeah.
However, the
boy.
yeah.
You still felt like you checked something off the list, though. You were like, okay, so
Sure.
I'm done with the bracers, so next is going to be good.
Yeah.
Next
Especially
will
when
be
you got to that point
good.
where the last few
Portal
that you
pants.
needed were good. It started to feel good because you were like, oh God, next orange I get, I'm happy. You know?
But now we've come to it, and I've moved some things in the show because we have been talking a lot of. Oh, you have more.
What did we discuss before the show?
Oh no.
We cut nothing. The people are here to see the show, start to finish. We cut nothing from the show today.
I've moved things. Okay, the show has two parts, but this is like the main potatoes of this first half here.
Okay.
So I gotta read this verbatim because I wrote down a little thing. So artifact essences, which I could make the title of this YouTube video like the most unfriendly system ever. Let me get like a bellular like clickbait video. Yeah, let me get Sage to make that up for me.
At least 10 exclamation marks.
At least 10. So I wrote down here, I'm gonna read this out verbatim. So, but yeah, its preface is the most unfriendly system ever for alts. However, but also really great on if you only play one character because it gives near continuous meaningful character progression and collection without any real RNG outside of, the two cosmetic rewards, which you'll have to chase over time or have no access to in the case of Mythic Azshara. But that one probably doesn't matter because it looks like poo-poo anyway. So, thoughts on feelings on the essences have sort of been pelted around throughout the show today. But, Luxthos, I'm going to go to you first on this one. And because I know what Wordup has said about what he would like to see with essences. And I think Ryan and I are probably on the same page here. But what have you gathered from your side of the internet? The whole purpose of why I brought together this group to pinpoint things is that Ryan's a horrible casual now. Wordup's really good at the game. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. And Luxthos is like the wild card here. Because he has history, but he's not currently rating Mythic. But he does a lot of stuff in the game. Where do you think the essence is and the ult unfriendliness or the system they're in? Because you play every single class.
I think what hurts me the most is exactly that. I used to be known to be a multi-classer. People would come to my stream and it's like, oh, Lux is playing DK today. Oh, now he's playing Shaman. Now he's playing Rogue. Because I've played literally since BFA started. I used to main, whatever. I was playing mostly my Rogue when BFA started. I swapped to Shaman. I played a lot of LA Shaman. I even swapped to Enhancement Shaman when I got a massive weapon in that drop from Mother. I played also a lot of Warrior. Then I went back on DK. I was just all over the place. And like I was talking about this the other day on my stream too. I would log on to my Dead Knight, do my emissaries, do a little roundup, just clear the map, do what I had to do. I would log on to my other all, do that. I would be done in maybe 1 or 2 hours. I had all of my quests done on all my characters. Then I would try to do a key on each of them, and they all felt like they could keep up. Now, what it feels like is I wanted to play on my Fury Warrior the other day, and I realized that if you play Fury Warrior in Mythic Plus and you don't have Blood of the Enemy, it feels awful. Because I'm sitting there playing the class that is GCD locked, that I'm supposed to do everything, every global, and I'm sitting here shooting a giant beam, and like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a Fury Warrior. Fury Warrior's supposed to, for me, it's supposed to go in there and just, cleave thing, boom, AoE crit, do more crit. It feels fun. On my DK, the beam didn't feel bad because I have a lot of downtime. I'm used to that. I have a portion where my resources are depleted. I can charge my beam, and it kind of felt great. But then I tried to play my Warrior, and it didn't feel good because I didn't have that essence that really made it feel good. That could be an issue with Warrior, right? But then there's some other class that it kind of feels like you're not performing your top if you don't have those essence. And then whenever I open the panel, I'm like, ugh, 50k honor to get that.
That's literally the feeling. You shift click on your heart and you see 1 blue and like 3 greens and then all grays. Yeah. You're like, oh.
Then I log on my DK and it's like orange, purple all the way down. I'm like, yeah. Okay, let's go back on DK. I love DK. I try to convince myself that I want to play with my DK. I'm like, yeah, DK's good. I can grip stuff and.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, your DK is a powerhouse, bro. Don't sell yourself short.
To be fair though, I've been having so much fun. I don't know if it's because I cannot play my alts, or if it's because I'm genuinely having fun on my DK. But I've been really playing my DK. Like every day I log on, I haven't been playing alts at all this patch. And I I don't know if it's because it's too alt unfriendly or because I've just been enjoying it that much. I think I genuinely want to think that it's been because I've been enjoying it. The content has been fun and everything has been fun and I've been performing well, right? So it's been fun and I don't think I've tried to look around if the grass is greener somewhere else and then even if I tried, you look up the fence and you're like, oh fuck this, and you just go back. That's what's happening right now.
So
to some extent, though, don't you think that because you can't tell whether or not it's because you can't play your ults or because you're really enjoying one character, that like in a way that's a success? Because to me, it's super weird to not play ults a lot because I always play a lot. And this patch, I've have to sort of like say, right, okay, there's actually only room for like 2 or 3 at a push. And they'll be like nowhere near as good as my main, but I'll play my main a lot. And normally I substitute a bit of ults here when I'm bored of my main, but I never got bored of my main. Yeah. Which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
weird to me that I haven't been burnt out. I'm like
years that I've been since I've had that.
Yeah. I think I agree like 100% with that. I think it's a success because I've been locked down playing my Death Knight, and I there's not like you have to wake up like when you're streaming, like playing World of Warcraft and streaming and playing World of Warcraft are 2 different things because I'm forced to wake up at like X hours. Okay, log on, start playing WoW, and you gotta find stuff to do, and it has to be fun. Otherwise, you just look like miserable the whole day, and people can tell. But I used to enjoy playing alts, but I think I did enjoy because I wasn't enjoying my main enough. And I know we're going to talk about Classic a little bit later on, but I think playing the Beta Classic and just remembering what it was, locking down on one character almost forever, because the first 3 expansion, Vanilla, BC, Wrath, and all those, I wasn't exploring at all. I was playing Shaman back then, like I was talking earlier before we started the show. I was playing my Shaman, and I was literally just... I loved Shaman, and there was nothing else that ever existed.
What's wrong with you guys?
Since Cataclysm, I've been just
Ryan.
That's part of the thing. Like as the expansions went on, at a certain point, to me it started like right at the tail end of Wrath when there's a lot of long ICC farm. But like in Cataclysm and everything past that,
exactly,
like you get to the point where you've done everything on your main, or you've done everything on your main that doesn't involve when it's raid time. But you still want to play the game, but like, what are you going to go and do? Like heroic dungeons? Like, what's the point in that? So you then go, right, okay, well, I'll play an alt then. And then you do the whole thing up on the alt. Then that one's done. And then you're right, okay, well, we'll try another one. And that just goes on infinite until you either run out of alts or new content drops. And then you dig in it again. Whereas I don't think I've had the point where it's just, I've not run out of stuff to do on my main, so I'll just log in on that. And the stronger it gets, the more the gap is with alts, the more you want to play that one.
Yep.
Because it's better.
Getting gear
like
feels good, you know?
Thing. Yeah.
You want to get that fulfillment. That's the fun of an MMO. You log on a character, you do something, you progress its power, and then you get rewarded for it. You feel happy, you feel good. But then if you reach like a power creep where almost nothing is an upgrade, it starts feeling bad because you keep doing the same thing, but you're never getting your reward anymore. It's like, I don't know.
The thing is, like, I don't think this would be the kind of patch that should like happen over and over again. But they've not had a patch like this in such a long time that it's really refreshing. Maybe like next patch it goes back and they give essences out to alts, which I wouldn't be surprised. And then it's alt city again, and then that's that patch. And then maybe once in a while they need to try this out where they just do a patch that's just hard, pick a character, and that's what you're playing this patch. For the lame, like the casual players and so on. Because obviously with raiding they have a different cycle, which sometimes is a bit of a suffer, but I like the idea. I like the feeling of it because I've not had it for such a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
A couple of different
I do
points.
think that they should give those essences though for alts.
Right. So there's a couple of different things that are coming up in chat that, again, after the second half, when we get sort of more into the nitty gritty stuff, if you have questions and things, we can respond a little more readily. I'm going to get through the notes here, but what was your idea you wanted to put forward? We talked about this on Twitter. We talked about this on Discord the other day. Wordup, you had, I think, potentially one of the most straightforward and not ridiculous alt
it's
parity
it's
for
something that I've
essences.
spoke to other people with as well.
Yeah.
They've bounced. The easiest solution would just be that whatever essence you've got on the highest character. So if your paladin has a rank 4 vision, then every other alt gets a rank 3. If they've got a rank 3 one, every other alt gets a rank 2, and it just trickles down. And it means that every alt has got access to a lot of different essences, so it doesn't feel weird to open the heart pain, and there's lots of grey ones that you don't want to, that you don't get to use. And it also incentivizes getting the cosmetic more, because to some people, especially with some of them where it's not that flashy, it does mean, however, that when you get that cosmetic, every alt's then got rank 3. So there's like there's a tangible reward to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
I
that,
would not be
but-
surprised to see that
Yeah.
in 8.3.
It even makes sense because one of the best one, which is condensed life force, would be the hardest one to get, unlocked everywhere.
There's
Yeah.
yeah, that takes weeks, and if you're not doing it every single week, you're just pushing back your weeks you take to farm the reliquaries every single week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's got like a scalability that's
Yeah.
really good, and also, especially the big one that I think like everyone who's done the Blood of the Enemy grind really wants that on their alts, but no one in their right mind is going to go and redo it. But would you be remiss to do that grind twice on one character that's really strong if it meant that 11 other characters got it? Because I'd be fairly happy with that.
It would be done already.
Yeah.
I would have
done.
used because I got mine before the battleground week, and then I didn't care for I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna get the legendary rank at some point in the expansion, right? But like I would have grinded the double BG honor thing, whatever, this week to get the rank 4.
Right. I
If
wanted
that
to
what is the case.
and I wanted to make sure we caveat, like the button hook that I put on that one was that the Crucible of Flame essence is part of the story progression and tied to your HOA level. That one is just, that's every single ult has to do that at their own pace. That gets faster and faster every week because of artifact knowledge. And the other point on what Wordup was saying there, I think we agreed this as well, is that you have to at least have the rank 1 of an essence. You don't just get
I
it for
think
free.
that'd be a good nice like lock off that you at least
Yeah.
have to have done the bare minimum related content to get it.
But
then
then I got to
Who
win
wants
an
to
epic
do bare
BG.
minimum? That's a lot of work.
Oh gosh, win an
want it for
epic
free.
An
BG.
epic BG on
Just
11
go
alts.
hanger. Just go hanger. Sorry.
It's really not that difficult. I agree. Please, guys, for the love of God, go hanger. It's
Go
not that
hanger.
difficult.
Please stop
Throw
going
down.
workshop. Go hanger.
There's no anger in Ashran.
AFK
you
and
got
Ashran.
Ashran. No, it's time to leave.
AFK.
No, dude.
You'll get out faster if you just leave.
No.
Trust me.
You have to do the backdoor strat in Ashrad. If you actually pull it off, it's
There is
hilarious.
no
It's the
strat in
backdoor
Ashran. Stop,
one.
stop. There's no AFK.
The backdoor strat is turning around and leaving.
No, stop.
We actually won an Ashran with 4 Dead Knights. We just gripped people in, and they started flying down. We
Yep.
were losing. We got in with 4 Dead Knight, and we won. That's the strat, DK.
It's definitely not one honor, by the way. I think Ashran actually has some of the highest like per moment to moment honor.
People that. Don't tell people that.
It's a lot. of
Don't
honor.
encourage
It's not
anyone
worth
to
it.
stay.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I don't like being stuck in there for an hour and
Let
10
the
minutes.
dream go.
Just let me leave.
Oh
Please,
gosh.
God.
Says
Completely.
the Horde. Horde always wins Ashran, so what's the problem?
No.
We queue as Alliance because it's more honor.
That is
you're
wrong.
queuing as it because you're doing
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
I queued Alliance the whole week.
It was an hour and 15 minutes, and I just wanted us to
Toddler
give
alert,
up
beer
or
back.
them give up. I didn't care either way. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to do anything else. But I felt like I'd been trapped.
It's time for 9-9.
Isaac. Ask Isaac what he thinks of Ashran.
Isaac, what do you think of Ashran?
Yes, my cookie.
Oh, you're gonna go
He
see
says
your
it's
teacher
complete
tomorrow?
crap.
I almost heard it. I almost heard crap in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I think
love
he's right.
you. Did you get something in your eye?
No,
Oh, okay. Hey, I love you. Say 9-9.
I told it.
You tooted? Oh, you little stinker.
Oh, we're talking about Ashran here. Okay.
Say 9-9.
Night
I
night.
love you.
And a waffle.
Okay, bye everyone.
Waffle.
Say bye, Scream.
Bye, Dwee.
Kids, by the way. He's got one more almost out of the oven, too. Yeah. Yeah, something like that, Calro. Yeah, exactly. He
By
looks
the way, Bay knew that was going to happen. I just want to clarify that wasn't at random.
No, that was.
I warned him. There were 2 caveats to me being on today.
That's gonna be the thumbnail. Just
I told him Isaac's gonna have to tell me 9 around 8:30.
Yep.
And if the wife goes into labor, I'm out of here. So that was it, man.
Yep. But so that's Ryan, did you have anything that you wanted to end then with the essence stuff?
Just don't do Ashran. That's all there is to it, man.
Come on.
Everything else is fine.
He's right though.
Everything else is okay.
But like
that's it. That's there's nothing else to add.
all right. Good night, guys.
That's it.
Yeah.
I've been queuing as Alliance the whole week, by the way.
Yeah.
The whole week on my stream is, oh God, you went Alliance? No, calm down. It's 50% bonus. They need more people.
Yeah.
I'm just helping them out. That's all I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there I actually Googled this the other day. Is there an actual bonus still with
It's not mercenary. It's because Blizzard put an incentive that if one of the 2 faction is underperforming and they're not queuing enough. Yeah, so there's an enlistment bonus. So the whole alliance is getting 50% bonus. The fact that you're mercenarying or doing mercenary thing
option, right,
is giving you the bonus that the alliance is already getting.
And where do you see the enlistment bonus?
It's a little star in your buff.
So,
it's a little star. It says enlistment. And,
if you're playing Horde,
sure.
it won't show anything there.
Yeah, because Horde fight for honor.
But if,
Yeah.
if it switches to Horde, the star shows up because EU has been bouncing like every half hour between factions. So you're going there, taking it off, and
let's not forget if you ever need an RP system in place, Bay, we got Luxthos York, you got Brutal Gnome over here. I'm not sure if Wordup can do a. But I'm saying we have an orc and a gnome at your disposal.
Give us your best dwarf.
Me? Oh, no,
word up, because we already got gnome.
I'm not Scottish enough to do dwarf. I'm not risking it. I've got Scottish friends and they will kill me. They hate English people enough.
Oh no,
that's a risk. A life-threatening risk.
Well, because you're British, you have to do Kultiran then.
Wait, the Kultirans are British?
They have 4 different.
Worgen.
It's literally
Worgen are like really Cockney.
No, all the Kultirans have
apples and pears. You've not heard the Worgen voice.
No, all the Kultirans are just they're like 4 or 5 different dialects of British, different takes of British. Yeah, because I think both the male and female characters have, at least the NPCs have 3 or 4 different voice lines each, and they're all different Brit strains. I don't even want to call them different areas they live in, different dialects.
Make it sound like a disease.
Yeah,
like come on, accents here, babe.
Kultiran is a disease.
Whoa! Wow.
Sorry. I meant alliance. Sorry.
Whoa!
For the Horde, baby. For the Horde.
Oh yeah.
Actually, what? So the follow-up I had to the essence system, this came in as well, and I think I'll go back to Wordup on this one first, because this is kind of like the mathy question. Is, do you think it's a problem that so many players, once they have it unlocked, are just socketing in rank 3 or rank 4 if you got lucky enough, if you're doing Mythic Azshara and you've gotten it to drop, Condensed Life Force as their major right now, the major minor combo, the big 3-minute cooldown button. Almost every spec does this, just sort of like a set and forget for almost anything in PvE. I don't think it's a problem, because I think if the raid essence was crappy, it'd be bad. But people use the raid essence because it's good, then it makes it good. But
the diplomatic answer is that I think it's fine, because
sure,
it's the raid essence. You do the raid, you get the essence. It's good in raids. Just like you do dungeons, you get Iris. Iris is good in dungeons. Wow, who'd have thought? Like that kind of thing. Like it's a good idea to have the thing that you do give you something that it's good in. The not diplomatic answer is, I think that because it sims well, that a lot of people see it, they go, yeah, that's really good. I'm going to always use this. I'm going to literally never explore any other essence.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
So like for me personally, Condensed Life Force always sims really well for enhancement. I've not used Condensed Life Force on every boss in Mythic Progress. I think I used it on 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The other 4, I was using Blood of the Enemy. I've tried different essences out, and they've been better. Doesn't necessarily show in sims, but they are tangibly better. You can see how much better they're doing.
Can we really take advice from a guy who hasn't killed Mythic Queen Azshara though? I think we need to.
I actually, yeah,
we need to talk about this.
I mean, we
Not
all
only
got
that,
experience.
but willingly plays enhancement as well.
He hosted the show of the first skill. I watched the show, and Brutall did as well. I mean, this guy, he doesn't even know.
This guy.
Yeah, I showed off my Florida Man shirt in Krefeld, Germany at the Race to World First coverage. Yeah, so, and then this guy.
You know the fight, basically. You
Get
can
a
go
load
in
of
there
this
and do
guy.
it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking when we started the show. I was like, how has Mythic Azshara progression been going? And his answer was...
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
Somewhere between 5 and 500 pulls?
Yeah, it's past the first pull,
Okay.
but it's not been killed yet.
Oh, okay.
So we're in like the interim.
So you're close. That's what you're getting. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Well,
yeah,
shout out
we'll
to
stick with that.
Echoes.
Sounds
Yeah.
better.
One of these days.
Have you bloodlusted yet?
Yes, we've bloodlusted in 3 separate places now.
Oh.
We're slowly moving
Yeah,
along.
we're getting information. We
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty good. Okay, so I gotta move stuff. We're at an hour and a half. I'm going to just forcefully move along the show and mute Discord real quick. If my guests need to go take a quick walk around, break, bio, get a drink, something like that. If you have any questions, of course, for my guests today on the show, now would be the time to wiggle those in. But again, gotta take this opportunity right now to thank those that are supporting the show, the stream, and everything in between directly, giving those extra BTS podcasts for, again, this is more of the show. Patreon has the RSS feed, so you can hook that into whatever podcast-oriented app you want to, and listen to the extra wrap downs that we have, the after shows, as it were. And there's an extra, 20, 30, 40 minutes of this, if you enjoy it, that usually parts of the show that gets pulled away, or that we just randomly jibber-jab about afterwards, goes over onto Patreon. And if you want to support what I do in a more physical sense, if the digital is not enough, of course, you can literally slap some of the art that I have curated and created with the artists that I have had the great opportunity to work with over the last 4 or 5 plus years now. Fabelina, in particular, has a line called the Little Final Bosses. That this is her 7th design, 8th in total, because she also did the Azerite Days shirt that was inspired by Gorilla's Demon Days. But they're all listed on my Design by Humans page. They're all down below on YouTube or right here on Twitch. You can check those out. This design just came out just a little bit ago, and you can fully customize what type of shirt you would like. Of course, then your size, your color, all the way across the board here on Design by Humans. And right now it's buy one, get one half off. And the big one right now is if you actually go over $75, it's free worldwide shipping on DBH. So if you'd like to do that, then that would allow me to keep doing and making these shirts for you guys and keep working with the artists and commissioning them for all the art that they put together. Patreon and DBH all goes back into essentially that budget for the show. So the new intro coming, all the art you see, the thumbnail design, those kind of things are all done by, I work with 4 different artists, and they work all through all the stuff all around the time. And Fabelina said, we don't know if she's going to have another design up next. She's sort of busy right now leading into the sort of BlizzCon season, but we'll let you know as that comes down the road here. But the final bit there, if you have not heard yet, is after all this time, Final Boss TV is partnered and sponsored by Corsair. I was very, very picky for a very long time about partnering with any big companies, but I've been using Corsair stuff for so damn long and using it in the current build that I have, the new build that I'm prepping for. So the links are down below again, of course, on YouTube and Twitch, that if you do pick up any bits and bobs and pieces and parts from Corsair or Elgato directly through those links, you will also support what I do here by getting something for yourself. So literally it's you first in this one. If you get anything through those lists, through those links down below, then you will help what I do here without having to directly give me money or, hashtag I'm WoW Crendor or buy my sloth pants or whatever you want to say. But those all down below. There's a whole bunch of other stuff too, I think, that people don't check out on Elgato. They have a bunch of just peripherals that aren't just streamer oriented. Additionally, as well, the Stream Deck is just a giant macroable device that you can use if you are like an artist or a programmer. You can hotkey and macro all this stuff, pages and pages and pages of hotkeys that you can just circumnavigate. And they have 3 different sizes of that. They have the new mobile one, which I have. This is neat. It just came out the other day, like a couple weeks ago. I think this launched with the big Stream Deck XL. So there's more there that you might not be aware of. You can check those out. Links are down below where links usually are. And that's ways to keep the show moving forward. The last big one is that next week and the week after, there will be no shows on 2 Sundays in a row. There's another event that I'm going to. Maybe you've heard that Mike Preach is also going to an event. We're going to an event together again. We just went to the Racer World First in Krefeld, Germany for the Eternal Palace. But something else, the NDA will lift tomorrow, so you'll all know where are we going, because he's coming over to my turf now. So what the heck is going on over here? The next spec show is September the 8th. It'll be Retribution Paladin, because the schedules didn't work out, so I couldn't have that show today. That's been pushed a few weekends in the future. But there'll be other stuff happening, right? At whatever the heck we're going to. And you'll find out tomorrow into Tuesday. You'll find out there. But if you miss the shows, they go up on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. They're audio-only versions on my YouTube or on my website. YouTube gets the whole cut of it. It's all archived for you if you miss anything. Check them out down there, wherever it is. Just Final Boss TV, links. You know what to do. All right. Nitty-gritty Q&A. If you have any questions, chat. I'm back at it. Ryan, you still here? Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making
I haven't wandered off, have I?
Well, I was making sure. You're yellow alert right now. No, you're yellow alert.
True.
I'm just
That
making
is
sure.
true.
Just making sure.
I haven't had any extra texts. No one's banging down my door. I don't hear any screams or any baby cries. I think.
Okay. Well, the
Okay.
question I have to open this with, as chat wants to post any questions, and I'll scroll through and grab a few of those if you can weave them in. I have some canned ones. We don't have to get to all of those, but the one that I moved down to this section that came up a few times in chat as well. Personal loot versus master loot in guild raids specifically. Any feelings toward how loot in WoW works? Because the whole eye level lock system, the whole trade base, no longer an upgrade for you, but you have to wait till it isn't, and you have to move it to someone else, and cloth splits and leather splits and mail and plate splits and whatever, all this nonsense. I had a tweet that I sent out about how we killed Mythic Ashvane, like a farm kill. We have a hunter, has a 450 Razor Coral, right? Big numbers. Gets a 455 Razor Coral. Obviously can't trade it. Would have been great to move that to someone else that doesn't have one yet.
Oh man, it's an upgrade for him. No. That's an upgrade for them.
Mhm.
And he feels damn good about getting it too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
0.5 crit when he pulls it out. Or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess, Ryan, you rated Mythically for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I'm only
And
taking a short break. I'll be back
short
on the
break.
scene soon. Hashtag looking for a guild because Lethal's dead. Putting it out there.
Well, I'm not going to even say that because you're not going to go Alliance anyway. But what do you think about Master Loot and Personal Loot and the loot situation in the game right now?
Anytime choice is removed, the option to be able to take ownership of something, in this case a loot system, it feels bad. I don't like that Master Loot was removed from the equation, because now we are at the mercy of some level of randomization and some level of, is this gonna work? Is someone already using a near best in slot trinket? They get something that's a literal 5-item level upgrade. It would be a 2k DPS, improvement to give it to this person, but now it's locked to them. I mean, these are all bad things. I don't like when choice and option and opportunity is removed from the player base. I don't think anyone does. All of that being said, I haven't had that much trouble with Personal Loot myself. I mean, I'm just one guy. But, going through all of Uldir, going through all of Battle of Dzar lore on Mythic, I don't think I ever had a single problem with it personally. But there were issues that cropped up in the guild from time to time, few and far between as they were. I wish that Master Loot still existed, but am I, lying awake at night, tossing and turning because it doesn't? No. That's all I have to say about that.
Yep. Actually, a succinct, brutal rant. I appreciate that. It's good stuff. Because Drewish came up in chat earlier and says, nothing Ryan ever says is short. It's a 5-minute discussion over 30 minutes.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I
Short
feel
and
like
sweet.
this is just like this. The whole personal loot thing seems like a hill that they're dying on, and that's it. Doesn't matter what anyone says.
Oh, but Blizzard's dying on.
Yeah, personal loot is staying, whether you like it or not. Just deal with it. And I don't like it, but I feel like everyone's screaming into the void about it isn't going to change their mind. They think it's fine, so whatever. I think there's been like enormous problems with it. You can see how much of a highlight it is when people have gone out of their way to get crafted gear, not because they want the crafted gear, but because they want to be able to trade items that they might get to other people. That sort of like highlights a problem with personal loot existing, because that shows how much people would rather just be able to share loot. Right? The problem is that unless all gear has parity, so when you get an item, it's as good for you as it is for anyone else. It's gonna feel super bad if you get something that sucks and the person next to you like really wants this thing. Like he just gets this thing and suddenly he's got like the strongest DPS in the universe, but he doesn't get it, you get it, and you don't want it. You just want to throw it away. So what did you get? You got a fancy stick that lets you trade the next one you get. Like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
personally.
it's a tough one. I
really feel like they should have got two version of personal loot: a lucked one and an unlucked one. You get the lucked one for pugs, so that way when you join the pug, you know you're not gonna get "Do you need that? Do you need?" I mean, you still get the "Do you need that?" reply, but you can lie to people. Sorry, it's whatever. So you get the peace of mind, because I understand why they made the move. Like, I understand why they did it. It removes responsibility on Blizzard's side if you make mistakes. It allows the biggest player base of the game to just play without trouble. It's like, hey, it's my loot. I'm in my little bubble. So I understand that part for pugs. If you want to have like a personal loot that is locked for pugs, I understand it. But for guild, I feel like that feature should have been unlocked. I mean, we added.
With Titan Forging existing, it's just not. It's not feasible. And the other really bad one, it's not been as bad this raid, but in BOD, for me personally, it was really bad, is that who else is in your raids is the decider as to whether or not you can get an item, right? If you're the only person who uses daggers and there's 19 other people, you're in the pool with the other 19 to get a piece of item that might be the dagger that you want. No one's going to trade it to you at all because there's no one who can. That's like, it feels like unless you've got a stacked right there, you're actively losing a chance to get the item. Whereas when it was master loot, sure, you'd get times where 3 daggers dropped and you're the only one, some loot gets wasted. But at least it felt like you had an equal chance of getting the perp that you wanted show up. Maybe you'd get it.
Yeah, I don't want to keep bringing it. I use this example because obviously I've now casted 3 different Race to World First. We've seen with Unot that there was none of this because there's no real way to gear for that fight anymore. But for BOD, we watched this in Uldir, and obviously we just saw it here with Eternal Palace. The top guilds to like the top 50, maybe 75 world. Maybe I trickled down a little bit more than that, because guilds outside of this realm don't do splits of this nature. You might do multiple runs with your main and your alt roster, or maybe half and half it, just to kind of like gear characters, which is fine. But Blizzard's whole stance on the loot that you get, you deserve, it's yours, in a constructive mythic raiding situation and scenario, the loot is your guild's. It is your whole team's decision to see where that goes properly and where best to utilize it. That's just how guilds have always worked for the last decade and a half, all of a sudden until BFA. And I think that the problem that they created, which are the armor type splits on top of Azerite gear, being you only get to chalk Azerite that's the same armor type, but that's just compounded the personal loot issue. And like what you said about you craft gear on your ults to make sure you can trade the raid gear, which just means that that's not a wasting of resources, but it's so much more you have to do on a character that you don't actually technically really play. It's just gross no matter how well you look at it. And that perception is what trickles down to the community. And then you get these heroic guilds that any of us may have heard about, or you read about in Discord, or you get messaged about. It's like, well, my guild wants me to play this class only because we want to stack more of these classes. I'm like, what's your progression? It's like, well, we're working on Heroic Azshara. And I'm like, First off, my dude, you can play whatever you want, and if your GM or your raid leader is that tight-butted about this situation, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're misinterpreting what the high end does for the high end. You should not have to worry about that at all. But it's just perception.
Always true.
I think a little tiny something I want to add on there, and you already touched on it, is the fact that people who don't, and I'm not world first. I'm Mythic Raid, but I'm not world first. So that's a whole other can of worms. But when it comes to Mythic raiding and trying to min max to some degree, people who don't raid on a Mythic level or a high end Mythic level, they either don't realize, they don't recognize, or whatever, that when loot drops, like in the personal loot system, when I was on my Warlock for Uldir and for BOD, if an item dropped, even though it was assigned to me and placed in my bag, that's not my item, right? Like, if I can't trade it, I can't trade it. That's dumb. But like, for Mythic raiding, it is a guild, a group effort. 20 plus people. You need to make sure that these items are going to these people to push this boss, and so on and so forth. And again, having that choice, that opportunity taken away from you, it's bad news, man. It's bad news.
Yep.
It also it hurts the people who aren't in for previous kills, because there's all, you've got problems with people rotating out and playing alts and class stacking and so on, but it feels really bad to have a guy come in who's not done any of the other bosses. He can't trade anything. So whatever he gets stuck on him, whether he needs it or not. Whereas all the people who've got it before they were in last week, they can come in, they can trade whatever. Like, it's this weird line that's been drawn, but at the end of the day, like I said, I don't think they're going to change it. They've decided now. So
it feels really bad also when you get that piece of loot and then you have to, it's taken away from you. I think it's like 10 times worse than just having like the loot being split up, and then like you eventually lose the roll, or you end up not getting it because of decisions. When you actually get it in your bag and then you got to give it away, that whole loot council thing now, it automatically even tells you, hey, you guys, you got to whisper this dude and trade it to him. He won. That's his loot.
Yeah.
Yep.
That feels awful.
And it's also, given that the way that loot tends to be is that it's, every third, fourth boss that you get something.
Yeah.
And then you get that fourth boss, you get the perp. You don't get to keep it. And it's not like the next person's going to go, hey, you just gave me a perp, so you can have the next one that I get. Right? No, that's not how it works. It's going to keep his too. Like, it's so unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
It also really sucks to get the item and be like, wow, I don't need this. And then the other guy goes, hey, do you need that? You go, well, no, but it's not like I can give it to you.
It's going to be disenchanted, but hey.
Into my bank. Yeah, don't like that at all. Terrible feeling. Was at the beginning of the expansion, still is now. I highly doubt it's going to change.
Yeah. It feels bad because it's not even like people were saying that it was only affecting like Mythic Raider. And like that's not true. It doesn't only affect Mythic Raider. Like, I don't consider, like, I raid Mythic, but very like casually. We're like 3 boss down and we're starting to work on Ashvane now, and like it's still affecting you in like multiple other scenarios. Like even in Mythic Plus, like somebody's gonna get like a mega item and they're like, yeah, it has bad stats for me, it's not better than what I had, I'm sorry, I can't even trade it to you. And it's affecting everyone. It's not only, I don't know, it kind of feels bad.
Diablo brings up in chat as well here. I have a question I want to bring up as well, but I was scrolling back down through, and the way the game scans your slots and role-based like trinkets or weapons. So the example came
ridiculous.
up. Yeah, like the whole like must have a healer trinket of X eye level before being able to trade another caster trinket. And the example said we've lost 2 fonts of power this way.
Font's got like really weird flags to it. You need to have like a lot, but you need, like, if you want to be able to trade anything, you need to have, like, say for shaman, you need like 2 agility trinkets, 2 int trinkets, 2 healer trinkets, a shield, a mace, and a staff, and then all the other gear. Like, what happens if I want to just roll on a healer weapon to give to a healer?
Yep.
I've already got 2 weapons. They're way higher item level, but they're not the right weapon.
They're not the healer weapon.
And you aren't allowed to trade it.
There's too many checks and balances that Blizzard has created in the loot game where, yeah, there was problems, I guess, in the Master Looter system, but with everything being personal loot except the higher end, like in Mythic raiding specifically, because a Mythic raid had master loot, but not heroic, you still wouldn't be able to do like the funnel loot in a main guild kind of situation. Even though I think the lesser of two evils, old school splits, as I interviewed Method directly, I think every single one of them unanimously said they'd rather have old school splits back than the weird, wacky current system we are in right now, where you run 2 or 3 or 4 cloth splits.
Yeah.
And you bring like 4 cloth mains, and all the gear goes to those cloth mains. It's just like, because it makes raids feel really kind of stupid overall.
It is. We're like between 70 and 100 half the time, and even we we do the first week. It doesn't matter. We have like a reasonable split, and then once the first week's done, people have picked up a bit of items so they can trade. It then becomes right. Okay, this is the cloth and plate split, and this is the leather and mail split, and it's really dumb. It's even worse when you have to consider that there's all these raid buffs that they like having to keep in the game. But one of those splits, you just don't get a couple of them. It's really awkward, isn't it? That the cloth and plate one doesn't get a demon hunter. And who are all the casters? They're all cloth.
They're all cloth.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Elemental shaman.
Yeah.
You also get to not play the class you would like to play as an alt. Like, you're kind of forced to have an alt of every. I'm guessing that's how they would do it, right? You have to have a leather alt, cloth alt, and
that's
instead of just being like, I like DK, warrior, and demon hunter. That's what I'm gonna bring, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's we did this to ourselves as a reaction to this system to better optimize our raids, because as you saw, even as optimized during the initial 2 weeks of progression, the top guilds pushing that did all this work, they almost had to, because either A, Blizzard balances for it, which a lot of the praise went, except like Queen's Court was the only like fall that like thumbs down boss fight. Everyone said almost unanimously, I don't know how Limit's side of things were and what Pieces said in their coverage specifically, but even on my coverage of my show that I did for the World First and in Germany, the overall actual numbers in Mythic right now feel really good for the progression they put in. But they had to do that because either Blizzard knew beforehand it was going to be nonsense with benthic gear and armor splits, or it was obviously a overbuff to counteract what they were doing. One of the two camps, different votes on different sides, but let's look forward for a little bit here. We've talked about the essences going forward and what we think for like alt catch-up and things, but what do you guys think is the natural evolution of this system? Do you think we're just going to get another minor slot? Do you think they're going to add anything else? I know Ian like talked about what they would do. I can't imagine a world we get another major minor combination slot to get another prime active.
I would be so surprised if they don't add another minor slot in. Like that seems like the absolute guarantee they're going to do that. And then they're going to add a new essence for whatever new raid they do. If they do another dungeon, there'll be an essence there. Maybe it'll be like 3 or 4 new essences spread around the game somewhere. And maybe they do double mages. Like, I think it'd be really cool, but I mean, who knows? I like the idea that I already like the way that the essence work now, where because they're universal things, they can be super OP, and you just pick the one that fills the biggest hole that your class has. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't do any burst AoE. I'm going to pick a big laser beam. And if you've got 2, then you've got like the major that's really OP, and then you can have like one where you pick the thing that's good at the thing that you're not usually good at. That would be cool. But whether they did that or not, I don't know. Maybe they add an extra rank to the essences. There's loads of directions they can take it. So,
hear me out. An essence for every spec. A new essence that is class base or spec base for every spec. And then a mage tower that customizes it and then improve the visual of it.
This is a YouTube video that if you haven't made right now, you would easily get all the clicks. Make sure it's at least over 10 minutes long so you can get that juicy mid-roll.
Yeah, and the title needs to be Mage Tower almost confirmed.
It's just like before the essences came out and people were saying, no, this can't be all of them, right? There's got to be like a spec-specific one. And then you'd ask them what ability they want from it.
But Conflict and Strife was nice with that.
Almost unilaterally, whenever you spoke to somebody, said, what do you want to get out of it? They'd go, oh, it would be insert whatever artifact ability I had in Legion
Mm-hmm.
on an essence. And they go, right, okay, yeah, we'll get Doom Winds back. Or
Doom Winds, let's
whatever.
go.
And it would always be just a long laundry list of all the spells that were on artifacts last expansion.
Yep.
Or how about something that would change your major cooldown? Like something like for Death Knight, I get a new essence that turns Army of the Dead into Army of the Gargoyle or something. And then
Oh.
I got a Mage Tower that makes those gargoyle be on fire.
Oh.
No, I like, I'm going like to extreme limits, but imagine like having Ascendance. I mean, Ascendance is no longer base cooldown, but imagine having Wolf. Imagine
mean
having an
wolves?
essence that makes 2 giant, like thrall big wolf that do like massive cleave damage or something. I don't know. Like, so you take a cooldown that already exists and you make it like even more epic.
Oh,
I was
here-
going to
here-
be super sneaky and just say, you mean a version of Wolves that's worth pressing?
That's worth pressing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, exactly.
right now.
That
And
doesn't
no
get out
RNG,
DPS by
just-
trinkets.
Just good damage. Just
Hate to be
I
the
don't know,
bearer
that
of bad
could be an
news,
idea.
but expecting something that amazing.
no, but it would require less
Expansion
work
patch.
because it's just like improving an
Oh,
already
no.
existing cooldown, right? No, okay.
Wishful thinking. Likely, I don't think so. But
Well,
wishful
Vendetta that
thinking.
applies to
Slightly
all AoE
altered
target
laser
and
beam.
range.
Slightly altered. It's a comment that Siege says in chat. You think one day they'll let us take the training wheels off? I swear the whole game is bubble wrapped to stop people from doing things. I brought this up before. Blizzard almost has to like protect certain people from themselves. And that's what I've said before. They almost have to do that. That's like going the next step than making all raids just a currency. So it just kills split raids, period. Because there's no point in running split raids. All you do is just run multiple raids just to get the currency on multiple characters to gear them up. But that would be really boring, I guess. But we're almost at that point right now where we're doing, literally chalk runs came up in chat after I'm scrolling back down here. So, but what's the argument against no trade restrictions? That people will be able to recreate master looting? Well, but yeah. Same thing happened in Legion when you're responding to that. So if you're not here during the live show, a lot of the guests are responding to the questions in chat. So I'm sort of catching back up with those. But I guess because go ahead.
Well, someone from I already forget who it was, but someone from chat wondered, or kind of thought out loud that maybe it would do the game some good to take a page out of EverQuest's old school style and make all gear tradable. You see, back in the day, the Avatar of War.
Oh gosh.
Dropped these flayed barbarian skin leggings, the Blade of Carnage, and many other items that were considered best in slot for expansions to come. And it wasn't long after that EverQuest's team at Verant and Sony Online Entertainment Studios decided, you know what, let's lock down this gear and make all raid gear untradable. And sadly, it's mostly been that way ever since. So to unlock raiding gear to make it tradable, that would be wild. Not going to happen, but it would be wild. God rest poor little EverQuest soul. It's not dead, but it is.
Yeah. So we have to at least weave this in somewhat because it is in the title in some way. And I did preface that it was going to be in the social media. Classic World of Warcraft. Classic is here. A week? A little over a week?
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's here a little over a week from now, too, and I'm way more excited about that than Classic. I'm just saying.
That's
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I won't tell Amanda if you actually are more excited for Classic, Ryan.
There's a few things that have to be more important than video games.
Yeah.
Newborn.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, well, some people might argue with that, but so I'm actually playing, for those just if you didn't hear, I'm going to be playing on Shazra, PvP Horde EU. I want to see what OG Enhancement Shaman was like back in the day. I'll be playing with Nobble and Preach and the Stark industry folks that I've met over the years of going to PreachCon. So that's been set up. But if I hit 60 before 2021, I will be surprised. But so Brutal, are you? Oh, do you first on this one? Are you going to be dabbling in Classic at all, or?
From an individualistic standpoint, I don't plan on playing Classic. I've made my opinion very clear for months now, but I'll say it again. I wish nothing but the best, and I want nothing but the best for the Classic community. I think it would take a really rotten person to want something that's bringing so much joy to people to fail. I think that's a terrible mentality. Shame on you, whoever you are that thinks that way.
Yep.
But it's not my cup of tea because I've as cliche as it is to say, for me, it's very much a been there, done that kind of situation. I started playing WoW in early 2005 after I quit EQ and EQ2. EverQuest 2 and WoW launched on the same month, November 2004, for those that don't know. So I played EverQuest 2 because I was so in love with EverQuest. Quickly realized EQ2 sucks, moved on to WoW. So I've been through, the entire patch cycle of Classic, and I've been playing ever since. And I have fond memories of it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it again, though. But that's just me. So that's just how I feel. But Classic is going to be insanely popular. It's going to be insanely fun for so many people.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to have the legs that a lot of people think it's going to have. But that's yet to be seen. I mean, my opinion means nothing, because it's nothing more than an opinion. Facts will be facts come a few months and a couple years from now. So we'll see.
Lux, what are you playing with Classic? Anything?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to be playing Classic. I will be playing on the streamer server, Faralina, US for PvP, and yeah. So I'm going to be playing that pretty hardcore. But I'm still going to be playing retail. So before Classic Beta came out, I was a little bit thinking exactly like Brutall. It was like, yeah, whatever, been there, done that. I have the collector edition sitting right next to me. I've been playing since day one, and
Show
I've
off.
only see it, and it's right there. It's sitting right next to me every single day. It's right there. The original. Oh
Look at
shit,
that
CD
thing.
key.
Look
I'm
at
kidding.
that
It's
thing.
not valid anymore. And
Yeah, mine's right there.
it's I wasn't planning on really playing it. I was like, yeah, been there, done that. I had fun. It was cool, and all of that stuff. And then I played beta, and I kind of fell in love again with the game, with that aspect of the game. And then I saw myself get absorbed into the world again. I would shut down my stream from playing the game, and I would keep playing. I would keep playing very late at night just to get that extra talent point.
What is it right now that is driving you? There's nothing more.
So the way that I've been approaching it is, once I was playing the beta, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be almost my main new game. I'm loving this so much, because 8.2 wasn't there yet. So we were in this state of World of Warcraft retail being kind of meh. And then 8.2 came out. I went back to 8.2 and I was like, oh, this is great again. Wow, okay, I'm enjoying this. And then I was like, okay, so I got to go back to class. Oh, how am I doing this? And then I started kind of to understand how I was going to treat all of this. So there's a lot of new system that I love about 8.2 and that I'm never going to have. I mean, in retail in general, there's a lot of system that I'm never going to have in Classic. And I'm going to use retail to make and have those content happen, right? So Mythic Plus, like hardcore progression and just hard, difficult content in general that challenges my skill and my ability to play the game. That's why retail is going to be there for me. The brand new lore, advancing mechanism, and all that new stuff that we have ahead. I'm super excited for BlizzCon and for 9.0 and all of that good stuff. But on this side, we're going to have Classic, which has all of the old school stuff that I loved about the game, and all those mechanics that we're never going to see again. Just like regular loot. Because I feel like we're never going to go away from Titanforge, right? It's never going to happen.
Ugh.
So farming honor for getting pieces of gear and having tangible reward and tokens, and it's going to be a casual play for me. I'm not going to go hardcore on Classic, because let's face it, like the content is easy. It's been figured out. Everybody knows this strat. It's easy, but it's still going to be fun for me, because I'm still getting that connection, that immersive connection with the RPG genre that was back then. I feel more connected to the game, and it feels like I'm getting more immersed into it. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. I get a little bit of enjoyment just riding my way to UBRS or whichever dungeon or whichever raid, and maybe I'm going to get a loot. if I do get that piece, it is an upgrade, and I know I'm going to keep it for a very long time, and that feels great. And then I can always log off, go back and do some Mythic Plus, try to push myself, do some 20s, do some high keys, and try to share a little bit of both. So I don't plan on being in an hardcore Nax, or I'm gonna be 60 probably in 2 weeks. I'm gonna play like intense at first, but then we're gonna kind of balance things out.
I don't think I will play it much, if at all. I might try it a little bit, like down the line, but I'm not super excited about it. I hope to God it's good for the people who are excited about it. I really do, because they've talked about it so much.
Yeah,
and I'm excited about it for them, but I'm excited as well for it to stop being everywhere, in my face. And if it's bad, then it's going to be in my face for even longer. I'd rather it just be good, and it's like super awesome, and they're just super happy about it.
Yeah.
But like, I only played vanilla like very sparingly when I was younger. I only I started raiding a lot in TBC, and I'm smart enough to know myself when I've gone back and played on certain versions of the game that there are parts of it that I don't remember being as awful as they were to me. So like, to other people it's charming, but to me, oh my God, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Last thing to it,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The very last thing to it is, like, I hated the over pruning of things, right? Personally.
Yeah.
And going back to vanilla is like a giga prune. It's like pruning back 14 years of things, and I don't want to do that at all, as much as I'm sure it is fun, and I'm sure it will be fun, and maybe like to double. But I like the new things that they try.
You need to join me in the walk up auto attack, wait, storm strike. Well, I guess it's frost shock auto attack, storm strike auto attack. You're not gonna join me in that?
I wouldn't be playing Shaman if I played it.
Have you seen Shaman action bar?
I truly hate two hands Shaman. Like, I think it's an awful thing. It's
what?
I want to know.
That's the reason I was playing Shaman back then.
That's why I want to play it, because I never played it. Right?
That was the best thing ever. Just have your weapon connect with someone's face and then they vanish. Oh. And we're not gonna get this again, but the body would lag and slide, like gnomes especially. They would lag and slide on the ground. Oh God! After a Wind Fury.
But the weapon's so slow that you've got to like file the proper paperwork to make sure that you're in the right place to like hit them with the weapon.
3.8, baby.
You delete their character.
An ADHD.
In order to release Spirit, they got to restore it first, and then there's a 30-day cooldown because they died so hard. It's.
But like, I do think it'll be what people want from it. It's just not. A lot of what I enjoy in the game is the new things that they put in and finding something in it, like, be it theory crafting, be it raiding, be it like trying something here or there. Classic's been done. Everyone knows everything about it, generally speaking, and there's all these posts that are being dragged up about it, and it's all stuff that's not new. At the end of the day, it's had years and years, and while it'd be fun to redo it, there's nothing to uncover, or I'd be surprised.
Yeah, Ryan, you wanted
more power to that guy.
You wanted to jump in, Ryan. What did you have?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the words right. There's no sense of discovery or mystery or suspense or like, oh, what's around the corner? For me, I don't like that. And again, I can only speak for how I feel about the situation. I feel like it's too known and it's too one-dimensional. But again, for some people, that's what speaks to them, right? So it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's not a matter of anything other than how you feel. It's so subjective, and it's just too one-dimensional and too much of it has been observed by me or experienced by me. So I feel you, man. Word up, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't think I've ever seen something split up a community so much in a video game.
I know.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because to me it's still World of Warcraft, And it's insane because you see this, there's a lot of content creators and a lot of people that are just like, hey, This is not for me. This is for me. I love boat, whatever. There's people are able to acknowledge that it's either for them or not. But then there's this war, and it's toxic, and it's making me sad because people are I feel like one side wants the other one to not succeed in order for to have their half of the pie being like, you know, they want classic to fail so bad because they're scared retail is going to die, and it's the same way around. People are scared of retail being a thing because they want classic to succeed, and I'm like,
but isn't that weird? Because that shouldn't be a fear, because you never know what benefits Blizzard might take out of their classic experience, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
They may rediscover something that resonates with the community at large by having classic be a thing.
Not even.
And then classic. Oh, go ahead.
No, my little point there is that the people that are in charge of World of Warcraft now are not to barely any people that actually made vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
So not even take from, it's learn from. But continue.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
I feel they already learned as well a little bit from it. There's been some change that I feel are directly connected to classic beta.
Maybe.
I swear to God.
Maybe.
I do think it is very strange how angry both sides of this have got.
Yeah,
it makes me really sad.
A lot of the time, like, it's simply just by saying, I'm not interested, but like I hope it's great for you is enough for someone to say you want the game to fail? Is that what you want? I'm like, no, I super hope it's great, but I just don't want to play it.
Yeah.
Like I know if they did like a TBC server, if it was on a certain patch, I'd want to play it, but if it was on the next patch, I wouldn't want to play it. And that's how I feel with all of them. I know which points I liked the game in, but I'm not crazy enough to think that I have the fortitude to redo it again and not get frustrated. Because what I enjoyed is post obnoxious grind in every expansion. And I do it once, experience the things new, and that's enough for me usually.
I've always compared it to like a game like Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Like, who did this game once and then put it away and never done it again?
Me.
Really? Okay.
Maybe me back in the day, but I can't remember.
I feel like I've done this game like a couple of times, and every time I'm like, oh wow, let's see what's down this path, because I haven't not explored everything, or even Breath of the Wild, which I've probably cleared like 3 times now. And like I haven't collected all of the seeds and everything, but I've redone dungeon and everything.
Well,
and you know,
spoiler alert on those seeds. I'm not gonna spoil you, but they're might want to reinvest.
I'm not going to attempt it. I don't
reinvest your time in something else.
No, I'm not
That's
doing it.
literally a huge troll by the devs.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty great.
I found that out pretty early on. But like I did the game, I did the storyline, and I'm doing it again, and it feels great, even though I know what's around the corner. Spoiler alert, Ganon is the boss. Like, you know, I know that, you know, but it's still fun because I get immersed. I let myself enjoy those little conversations with NPC, which I know word for word are going to say the exact same thing, right? Just like I probably done, I mean, Skyrim doesn't really apply here because it's so, like, there's so many possibilities of character you can do, but, you know, I still redo it, even though I know every, like, first quest and everything, like, I know where to go, I know what to do. I still do it because I let myself be immersed in it. So I feel like I treat WoW Classic like a single-player type of game, even though it's not going to be. It's going to be a huge, like, online experience, but I treat it like an immersive RPG experience.
Yeah, I get the sentiment with that. I don't replay a lot of games.
Yeah,
there's a handful that are like in the block that I will replay, but it's the time investment that completely turns me off. Because it's like if I want to replay Metal Gear Solid, it's going to be like what, 5 hours? I've done it before, if that. And not only that, it's shorter this time because I've already done it. I know what I'm doing, and then I replay it, have a good time, and then I'm done. 5 hours is what, like level 10 on Classic, so that's like.
But it's never going to be the same thing because you can pick a different class, you can get different loot, you can reach different goals. Like if you never got Eye Warlord, now you can have a shot at it, even though it's just going to be like Seed of Breath of the Wild. It's going to be very painful.
I understand like that there's a lot of weight
for sure,
to it, and that's why I think that's like really appealing for some people.
Yeah,
sure,
but
there is
like that kind of thing where if it's something different, then I'd play like roguelite. Wouldn't I? I play Dead Cells. I really enjoyed Dead Cells. I can jump in that in 40 minutes. Done.
Yeah.
Good or bad. It's the sheer time investment when there was already another game. Such a time investment that like blocks me from being
Yeah.
excited about Classic. Not to mention that to get much out of it, you already have to have invested a lot of time.
Mhm.
And if you aren't sure beforehand, and then you get there and it's not what you want, that's a whole lot of time
Yeah.
that I think I would be unhappy that I'd wasted.
Yeah, you need to know what you're getting into for sure.
Mm.
But now I know what I can skip from Classic. Like I know what grinds I don't have to do. I know where I need to go. So I'm gonna be playing Warlock, which I've never played until
God bless you,
Kata.
man.
I never
God
played
bless
Warlock
you.
until Kata, I think. And now I'm playing Warlock this time around. Different experience, different type of gear I gotta farm. But I know which grind I'm not gonna do. Right?
Right.
I'm directly gonna get to max level. I know how to do it. And I know then which dungeon I need to farm to get good gear. Gonna get into Molten Core, move on to,
It's interesting. You're bringing up all these points, and I don't want to derail this in a back and forth. That's not. I just want to be clear. That's not how I'm
sure.
going to paint this, of course. But it's interesting because to me, like you're going into the game and you already know exactly what you need to farm, the dungeons you need to run, and to be fair, obviously that does exist for retail, but
yeah.
I suppose my brain has difficulty disconnecting in some sense because I don't look at I don't look at Classic and think to myself, boy, it sure is fun knowing exactly what I need to do every step of the way.
I mean, like you said,
I guess it's me, right? It's
the same thing for retail, right? So not only do you have beta where you already know where you have Dungeon Journal, it tells you where the item are. I mean, you don't really get surprises, right? Like, I mean, right now we deal with like an infinite mechanism, like Mythic Plus, which is kind of nice for a couple of weeks. We have different placement on ads during the Mythic route, and you got different thing. And then when they release a new patch, it's all new, but it's all new for a week. Then it becomes exactly like Classic would be. It becomes all known content, except when Blizzard pushes a lot with the micro little gifts and games and stuff. So I understand that part, right?
The thing of the repeated dungeons is a problem retail though. Like and I agree, I don't like that at all in the fact that we retread the same thing and it's in the same expansion.
Yeah.
Even though they do try something, it's never enough to like reinvigorate the same content.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to be using both, right? I'm going to be playing both because they both offer me something really nice. One allows me replayability and high-end content that tests my skills, and the other one gives me an immersive experience, which I already know exactly what I'm going to be doing, but I'm still going to get immersed. I was actually really surprised at how I was reading quests. I got my first quest, and I was like, there's no question mark. Wait, where do I got to go? Oh, go east up the river into the cave. And then, like, I was trying to figure stuff out, which I did this quest 20 million times in Classic, and I did not remember anything. I had to reread every quest, and then you slowly get, like, little piece of memory that slowly, like, it's known, but it's 15 to 14 years old. I was 14 years old when the game came out. I was not a full human being yet. Like my experience back then was so drastically different as to how I'm going to like play it now. I had to go to school. I had to work at night, and I would skip school sometimes to play World of Warcraft. You know, I was kind of bad, and but yeah, it's gonna be so different. Like it's been such a long time, and I feel like I was such a different person back then. And I don't remember all of it. Like I got now to remember most of it because I went online on Classic Wowhead and I started searching and I started kind of going back into it a little bit. But yeah, I do completely understand the. We know exactly that in 2 months there's gonna be this raid coming up. It's gonna be Blackwing Lair, and then there's gonna be AQ, and then there's gonna be Nax, and
there's some like weird things that aren't going to be in it that I like. That I would have a hard time explaining what it is that I like. See, I don't like. In fact, I think it might be the biggest point of contention that I have with the game in Classic is that the patch that it's going to be released on, even though they're going to add more content in, the balance of the classes when it releases, from the way that it's said by them, is how it's going to be for the entire Classic cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, for better or for worse, do like that the expansions that worked the best were the ones where they did pay attention to when things weren't balanced or something was bad or whatever, and they did put their hand in and try something. And I don't think they'll do that with Classic, which is for some
they're
people
not.
that they really want that, and it's great to give them that. But for me, missing that is a really weird thing, because that means like a patch comes out and they'd be like, look through the notes. Well, what's changed? Maybe we'll try this. Is there a new talent here that we can try or something like that? That's never going to happen. What you get,
Yeah,
at the
for sure,
beginning
it's
is what
never
you get
gonna
at the
happen.
end.
They're not going to touch balancing, that's for sure. You're not going to get that surprise of, hey, I might try a new build this time around. But I was actually trying a lot of different builds. I was actually trying to explore a lot of different stuff because, of course, everybody knows the talent tree and everybody kind of gives the, hey, it's cookie cutter. You go look at guide and then you place your point there and there and there. But it's crazy how much thinking I've been doing into just like for playing the beta, especially. So it's a different experience. But since I was locked down on a specific level, I had to optimize for that specific level, and we started like kind of thinking about which build would be the best. Should I put only 5 points into affliction and go deep into demonology for that sacrifice, or And there's so many different types of build based on the content that you have to do. And it's actually crazy how many things you can do, and there's so many hybrids and fun stuff that you can do. True, for raiding, it's cookie cutter. Like if you're playing a shaman, sadly, you got to be restoration for optimal gameplay.
But see,
sucks.
that's a question that you guys have sort of gone over a little bit here, and this is sort of like the bookend of the show right now. We're having like the classic Bants, but that's one that was close to the end. We're at 2.5 hours, Ryan. We're gonna wrap it up here soon, okay?
Hey, you have like 10.
You have places to be.
Like 10 minutes.
No, we're 2.5 hours. This is we're getting to the end of the show here. But the question I had that was proposed to me again from my Discord, and if you're in the Discord, I ping the Discord every week before a show comes up. If you have any questions you want to help integrate into the show directly, we've been answering questions here and having fun with chat. But the question came up: do you think Classic WoW will see a very stagnant class and spec combinations or representations because the game has been figured out? There's even a website right now. It's like called classicbiss.com or something that you can literally see what your class or spec should wear for optimal gameplay at like every stage of all of Classic. It's already done. It's already figured out outside of like a few weapons or maybe a different trinket combination here and there, right? But basically it's there.
I don't think that site existing is a bad thing.
No, I don't think it is either. I think
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because in fact, I don't even think it's as anywhere near as dangerous or bad or anything for people, because a lot of what it's going to tell you, it'll tell you what's best, but this is part of the thing of people need to know what they're getting themselves into. It might be the best. That doesn't mean that you're ever going to get it. Not like you'll get it eventually.
Right.
In Classic, there is quite literally the chance that it will never drop in your raids, and you get it.
That's correct.
There's usually fallback.
There's no inevitability on perps like there is in retail. Which
every guide though has a fallback. So usually they're going to put one item. They're going to tell you this is what you need to farm, and then if you cannot get it, this is the alternative, right? And also having pre-BIS slot or whatever. Like, of course, there's going to be those people. Like, you got to remember that the content is easy as hell. It's going to be super, super easy. So, of course, there's going to be these guild full of Fury Warrior, Frost Mage, Rogue, Warlock, Resto Shaman, Holy Priest, all those clans that are considered to be optimal. But I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of guild from people that just want to have fun. It's going to be NN Shaman, LA Shaman, Shadow Priests. It's just going to be a bunch of people drinking mana potion because they're every 2 seconds. But they're going to have a heck of a good time, and they're not going to care if the MC is going to be so easy, and Blackwing Lair is going to be so easy that you can literally go in there and try to be, hey, let's try to see if we can kill the first boss with only wood stick and wearing shorts, right? You can do whatever you want, right? You can create the game experience you want, right? And I think that's where the fun is going to come from.
How long?
Because every day I get the same question: can I play an Shaman? Can I play Shadow Priest? Can I play Bumpkin? The answer is the same. It's optimally no. But is it viable? Yes.
But if you're in a place that's going to actually play Classic and you're going to be restricted that much to like the meta of vanilla, when the games are not the same, especially in this day and age, everyone should be able to play whatever kooky nonsense they want because they can destroy everything in the game by playing whatever they want to. They're not going to need to do all this, like, only can play these 4 specs in the game right? It's like one warrior spec, one rogue spec, one mage spec, one warlock spec. No hunters, no enhancement shamans, no elemental shamans, no bear tanks. Unless you get to 4 horsemen, you need 2 of them. Like I had.
Sounds like BFA.
Well,
I mean, people
don't
are
think there's
going to
be
do that.
like. I don't think there's going to be low diversity whatsoever. I think it'll be pretty. I don't think there will be, just because of the sheer amount of people who've said, despite the fact that it's a known quantity, that some of these specs suck, right?
Yeah.
But what they want to do, they're still like, yeah, but I'm still going to play it. They've decided they want to play it. And the thing is that those people, especially, so those people, when you speak to them, they know that they're picking something that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
And they completely accept that they're picking something that sucks.
They're going to form communities and have fun.
Them knowing it is the important part, because the problems are the ones where they go, Feral Druid looks kind of cool. That's like a cat, right? Like, I'll give that a try. And then they spend all the time to get to 60. They go, well, that was a week of time wasted because I don't get to do anything anymore. And like, that's the important thing. Like, all of those people who already know, they're going to sustain the class diversity. And then the other ones, we'll see.
Like, feral damage can still do damage. LA Shaman, like, they can do, like, for example, like, Nax, like, gameplay, like, most classes will do a little bit over 1,000 DPS. Like, the good classes, like, a Fire Mage will do, like, 1,000, 1,100, and stuff like that. Fury Warrior will peak to that as well, 1,000 DPS. But, like, a Feral Druid is going to do, like, 500, 600, 700. So it's not like, hey, you're not going to kill the boss because you got a Feral Druid. But people are drawn to that. They just want to optimize the most efficient way possible. So, of course, you're going to have these big guilds with only stacking X and X classes, and they want to clear it the fastest way possible. That's what Meta does every single raid tier, right? And that's what Limit does. But then you got good old casual guild that are just going to go in there and play whatever they want, and just have fun. And they're going to clear it. You could literally do all the raids in the game with just Feral Druid, I'm pretty sure.
I imagine you probably could.
Would not be surprised.
Yeah.
So, it's a place where you can have fun, be creative, do whatever you want.
I hope so. I hope it'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you bring up Feral Druid, just farm Mechagon for the mace, you'll be fine. But you gotta farm like dozens and dozens of those stupid maces.
I wasn't picking on Feral, by the way. It was just I
mace?
can't say Shaman because it'll sound like I have a thing.
I mean, Shaman has the same issue. Like, people are saying, like, you only need one for the Nightfall debuff to apply to... No. You can make a full group of an Enhanced Shaman.
That's one thing that is really curious, is the amount of absurdly niche pieces of theorycraft that are, like, 15 years old that people have latched onto. Like, the Nightfall thing is one of them. There's, like, also people talk about totem twisting, but a lot of the things that people talk about totem twisting to me, when I read it, it's not classic totem twisting that they're reading back from. They're reading back from like,
TBC.
It's totem twisting theory crafting, which doesn't work, but they haven't checked as to why it doesn't work.
But totem twisting is a thing in vanilla. It is.
It is. It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not. You just drop Wind Fury, the buff is applied to your whole group, then you drop Grace of Air. As soon as Wind Fury is about to fall off, you drop Wind Fury again. Does that sound fun?
There's the little difference is that you
not really,
you could go which in TBC you couldn't.
Yeah.
Which is why it's like a bit more complicated in that sometimes you don't get to press buttons if you want to be twisting.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is Shaman that totem twist don't do anything else. Because if you use any spell, you go out of mana, and then you're useless, right? Because you were brought up because you had a Nightfall Axe and totem twisting. But again, those cases are only going to be in the IN stuff, right?
The only twisting we should be talking about is Bard twisting in the original.
No, Ryan!
Okay? From 1999 to early 2005, I mained a Bard on the Bertoxilus server. Staccato Vibrato was his name, originally Wood Elf, Sheer. And let me tell you, I wasn't good, but man, twisting them songs, baby.
I played Bard in Rift.
Here he goes. Hold on. Before we continue and wrap up, I'm changing the Discord server one moment, so it's going to flicker. And we're back. Just we're getting some packet fluffling on you guys talking sometimes. It actually cuts you out.
Does my voice sound good?
No, I'm kidding.
Nope. Nope.
Are you a Decepticon? Then yes. Yes. But yeah.
This segment was presented to you by the Going Seller. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that's pretty great. But it's an interesting realm. I think to tie that all up, a lot of good stuff. Hence just the Bants. I was just sitting here listening to you guys going off, reading chat room, and the different opinions that come up and down. I hope that Classic is all over the place. I hope we see arcane mages doing dumb crap and subtlety rogues or just weird stuff, or like OG survival hunter with like the actual original incarnation of hunters doing melee and just doing fun nonsense, right? I'm sure certain guilds will be like, you can only play the meta and that'll be their entire purpose, and there'll be only 7 specs in the entire raid. That's fine, that's their thing, but I think the overall of that game is that you can do whatever you want. And I mean, that is going the same thing in BFA. You can play whatever you like. Yeah. Outside of what the top guilds do to do what they need to do in the time that they do it, that is a certain different focus of the game. They play to the patch. But then everyone else can play whatever they would like. It's the ignorant and arrogant and too pig-headed people in the community that like, no, you can't come to my Mythic Plus 9 because you play a Feral Druid. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You can do whatever you want in this game until
you weren't going to bring up my conversation. How dare you?
Oh yeah, Ryan, stop trying to play subtlety rogue in fortified weeks in Mythic Plus. Ryan, come on.
Subtlety.
Yeah, stop doing it.
Subtlety.
So it's gonna be a fun place to see where everything pans out, and I hope there's just nonsense. I hope there is, Ragnar was killed by 40 people wearing only shorts, hitting with a fishing pole, right? There'll be dumb crap because YouTube and Twitch and social media didn't exist the way it did 15 years ago. There's gonna be so many great memes and so much nonsense coming out over the next couple of months. It'll be fantastic. And that's
to be fair, none of that stuff existed 15 years ago.
No, we had Warcraft movies.
Yeah, it's thinking 15 years ago, there just literally didn't exist.
Yeah.
Pre-YouTube, pre-Twitch, pre-social media.
Yeah.
Google video.
It'll be funny to see. But we had other questions. I think the last one to wrap up with here. Ryan, you had something you wanted to interject in there. Are we good? Did you get it? Are you all set? I felt like didn't want to get you talked over.
So Statue of Ralazek, man, I'm telling you.
No,
you kill statue, you move on to idol, you conclude with Avatar of War, you get your gear that's tradable, best in slot for year. It's just EverQuest, man. They did something so different compared to how it is nowadays. It's just
that's because they were one of the first. They didn't know what they were doing. It's like 20
excuse
years
me,
ago.
Sounds like it works pretty well. He remembers it. It was pretty good.
How dare you?
It was EverQuest, not EverQuest. It was obviously correct.
If they release EverQuest Classic, would you play it?
They have released EverQuest Classic. They're called progression servers, and no, I didn't play it.
No. Okay.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, Teddy's on. Yeah, you should have just skipped. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I should have skipped him. But I gotta at least. He kind of started the show off with a bang, so I definitely have to ask his question at the end, just because otherwise he's going to at me in Discord later with one emote, and then I'll feel bad. But this is from Gorek to Word Up. What do we have to do to get you in almost every live show? That's question 1.
I don't know, like, ask. That's all it really takes.
That's a good start.
Yeah. I'm not like super busy most of the time, so
this next one is kind of toxic because he made a scale, and the scale is from a 0, which he rated as enhancement, to a 10, which is a rogue. How much of a nerd do you think I am?
10's a rogue. Demon Hunter is really close to a rogue, so like this could be like an 8, right? A solid 8, maybe a light to strong 8.5.
I would have answered Red Paladin.
Wow. That's sure.
Ooh.
Can we get some ayayas in chat? Ayaya? Little. It's a negative. Ouch.
Yeah, it's like -5.
Oof.
At least you got Blessing of Protection, baby.
That's true. But as the way we wrap it out here, again, it's not going to be a show for 2 weeks, so I think going a little bit over for this one is fine. Guest closing shout-outs, remarks, soapbox. Do you have anything you want to wondrously, bits of wisdom, or anything you want to close out with? I know if I give this over to Ryan, he's going to bring up EQ, so we're just going to skip Ryan for now. But Luxthos, you were the new guest on the show today. I hope you had a great time. Do you have anything you want to end with? Anything you want to sign off with? Anything you want to plug? You plug yourself if you want all your things. Where are you on the internet? Where do you want to? This is your time, sir. Take it.
Slash Luxthos everywhere. Was a pretty rare name, so pretty hard to pronounce as well. So I got it on every social media. So Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I stream every day except Saturday on Twitch from 10 Eastern Time AM to 5. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I make WeakAuras, and you're doing a special for Red Paladin next week or in 2 weeks. And that's cool because I'm releasing the updated version for the Paladin WeakAuras this week or next week.
Where can people find those?
I haven't worked on those in a very long time. And yeah, those are going to be brand new, all fresh, all clean, with all of the new feature. So that's going to be pretty neat. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to be playing a lot of Classic. If you guys want to watch that out, I'm going to be playing an Undead Warlock once Classic releases, but I'm still going to be playing Retail a little bit after it kind of curves down. So yeah, that's pretty much what there is with me. Thanks for having me on the show, by the way. That was awesome. I loved every second of it.
Except when Ryan was talking about EQ, right?
I don't know. I like that a lot.
I'm getting used to it.
You're getting used to it.
Wow.
It's gonna be the thing now when I'm doing
let's
Mythic
not
Plus.
forget, if it weren't for EverQuest, the World of Warcraft wouldn't exist. It laid the framework, not to mention we had Tiggle Biddies, Jeff Kaplan himself from Legacy of Steel.
God.
Blizzard recruited him. You have Alex Esperosby, Fuhrer from Fires of Heaven. Blizzard recruited him, let alone other people that I'm not even remembering off the top of my head. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
And from what I've learned, it also had bards.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
My favorite class.
Oh, no. Senpai, this is your time. Yeah, take it. Go run with it. This is you.
I'm still on Twitter if people want to watch me complain. There's not like a great deal. I still update the guides. I'm still suffering in Eternal Palace. I'm still playing Shaman, even though everyone keeps asking whether I'm still playing Shaman. Yes, and probably will for a very long time. I'm not going to play Classic. I'm not going to play Enhancement in Classic. So also please stop messaging me that. If I do, I will play like a rogue or a warrior. That's about as close as you get for an answer. But that and Purge sucks.
Oh my God.
I admire you, by the way, for sticking out with Enhanced Shaman for so long. That's insane.
Dang.
I know it's
That's dedication.
stupidity. I lean strongly toward the latter. But
Hey.
I mean, someone has to, right? Because if someone doesn't, then think about all the memes that you'd lose out on. And my guild would just have like the worst sense of humor if they didn't have me to make fun of.
Right.
They get a reason to not have Azshara down, pretty much. That's why they bring you.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I'm like a mascot. Like, yeah, because you can just say, well, we haven't killed it because, I mean, have you seen what we've got in the raid comp? Like, what are we going to do?
Have you seen this guy doing 54k DPS? What the hell is he doing here? Guys, this is bad. Or more. I guess Azshara, you get that Agrabah cleave turned on now and then, but no, Wordup's not doing the classic old school enhancement. I want to experience it because I played vanilla Druid, resto into balance back in the day.
Oh,
so I played
sorry.
Druid. Wow.
I'm sorry for you.
8 of 9 Nax Ramus set. What did you do?
I one-shot people in Warsong Gulch, mainly gnomes.
Oh, no.
Just
I have a
down.
corrupted Ashbringer, though, so I technically completed vanilla.
Oh. All right, Ryan, you can close us out. That's fine.
Been fun. I appreciate everyone being here today. Thank you very much. My name is Brutal Static. Have I ever told you where the name Brutal came from? You see, back in the day, there was a game named EverQuest. And on the Bertoxla server, there was a guild, Phantom Raider. Best guild in the server by far. Guild leader named Rack. He was a monk, R-A-A-K. And the main tank for Phantom Raiders on the Bertoxla server in this game called EverQuest was Brutal. B-R-U-T-A-L-L. Ogre Warrior, great guy. Great tank. Phenomenal. Well, fast forward to 2004, EverQuest 2 comes out, and I decided to roll a Berserker, which the Berserker class could tank in EverQuest 2.
Uh-huh.
Quickly changed from Berserker to Guardian, realizing Berserker was a terrible main tank. I had to think to myself, now, If I'm going to be the quintessential tank in EverQuest 2, what name would I want to use? And came to me like a flash of lightning. Brutal. Fast forward a few months later, I'm playing World of Warcraft. I make a Tauren warrior. Take the name with me. Make the guild static. The rest is history. History. You can find me, Brutal Static, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, everywhere. Much like Luxthos over there. That's it's just my name. So find me wherever you want to find me. And thanks for hanging out today, guys. Let's get up for the man who makes all this happen, Mr. Bay, Adam K, aka Bay. Thanks for having me and us on, sir. It is always a pleasure.
The flamingo shirt appreciates you, sir. Just to make sure the Florida man.
The Coltrane asparagus and brutal taco appreciates you.
Yeah, Twitch sellout shirt right there. Solid stuff. Like that.
Right. And that was the only one at my size on Amazon, so.
Wow, Adam K, aka Nerd. I mean, based on Wordup stat, yeah. Too many buttons are done up. That's fair. It's not Saturday on Twitch though. If you were here yesterday, you were hearing about what's happening on Twitch, but that channel has been removed. But anyway, I'm hitting this button over there. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, the next spec show. Something happened on Saturday on Twitch. Things happen. All right. Next spec show is September the 8th. This one went a little long because there's no spec show for 2 weeks. So maybe digest this one in different parts and pieces, if you will, around the table yet again. There's Ryan with a very shiny head. Did not powder it before he came on the show. Like
wait, am I on?
Nate, yes.
Man, I thought we were done.
I have to do the final wrap down. I have to do my thing. There you go. Oh, god dang it. I'm totally going to use the paint version of you that you gave me for the thumbnail. Is that okay?
Oh, wait, hold on. My thumb was out of the frame. Let me.
Oh, my God.
There it is.
You use that face to sell Mate paper.
Yeah, Mate paper. Get that. Oh, no. Luxthos, again, thank you very much for being on the show, sir. Thank you for bringing the best beer to the panel today, depending on what the YouTube comments or Twitch wants to vote for. You actually have... See, I have mine. It's in my bathroom, though. I don't have that next to me.
I have a couple. We even have an emotes. It's even on the... It's everywhere. That thing is a meme, dude. It's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to keep it. It was a pleasure, sir. Appreciate your time today. It was great.
Pleasure being here.
And Senpai, thank you very much for being here again and just sort of... Again.
And complaining.
Well, only a little bit.
Pretty positive. That was being uncharacteristically positive, actually.
Well, this show existed almost because of what you said about how much of the game is really good and how much fun you're having. So this is what spawned
That's true,
it.
yeah.
We got to be critical now and then, though. But thank you again.
Send it as a private message, not on Twitter, though.
Well.
The Twitter one was very positive.
Yeah, the Twitter conversation we had was really good.
Astonishingly positive for that Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was quite good.
You could go like that.
I have to. But then thank you again for tuning in. Yet again, if you don't know, Final Boss TV is partnered and sponsored by Corsair and Elgato. Check out the links down below if you're looking at anything, any bits and bobs and pieces and parts for your upcoming PC builds, upgrades, side grades, whatever you would like. There's no Titan forging in real life. You just get what you purchase. And if you do so through the links down below, then you will support the show, the stream, and everything in between. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you back when I get back from my trip. There'll be streams normally all week and such. But then what happens after that? September 8th, Red Pally show. We'll go from there. There'll be stuff happening. Mike and I are going to far off places in America. And we'll talk more about that later when you find out when the NDA lifts in the next couple of days. But thank you very much for being here. Trusting your pearl farming and your hole grinding. Yep. That's how I'm closing the show. Bye, everyone. Bye. Wave. Do this. Ryan, what is...
Oh, are we on again?
What are you...
Are we on again?
Not anymore.